Chapter 99. Meng Yingying had lost a bit of weight, and her clear-as-water eyes were even more beautiful, as if they were dotted with starlight. A mysterious, dreamy aura covered her snow-white skin. Pure, flawless, untainted by even a speck of dust. The elder sister was like a fairy from the moon palace, standing aloof from the world, not eating the food of mortals. The younger sister was like a carefree spirit of the forest, not tainted by the filth of the world. The two sisters had an otherworldly temperament. "Hey, what are you looking at?" Meng Yingying noticed Chu Tian's evil eyes, and her cheeks couldn't help turning slightly hot. She fiercely threatened, "If you keep looking, I'll stab your eyes." So fierce, a woman's heart is the most poisonous. Chu Tian's heartbroken appearance was like a heartless fool who had been betrayed. "That's enough." Meng Qingwu was speechless at Chu Tian's clumsy acting. She was most worried about her little sister's situation. "Yingying, what source spirit do you have?" Source spirit represented a cultivator's potential and talent. Source spirit determined a cultivator's growth in the future. If one was born with a waste source spirit, then their achievements would be limited. Meng Qingwu had awakened a heavenly book source spirit. This kind of source spirit was very rare, and there was no cultivation technique suitable for Meng Qingwu. So Meng Qingwu was destined to never become a peak battle-type expert. Physique could be changed, aptitude could be changed. Only the soul could not be changed. What kind of source spirit did Meng Yingying have? This was related to her little sister's lifetime achievements, so Meng Qingwu was a bit nervous. "I don't know, but you'll know once you see it." Meng Yingying's delicate and beautiful face slightly wrinkled. Suddenly, she clasped her hands together and began to condense her magic power. One could only see the smooth specks of magic power escaping from her body into the air, condensing into a blurry mirror. This was a frameless mirror. It was crystal clear, like it was condensed from mercury. It looked a bit strange. The elder sister was a book source spirit. The younger sister was a mirror source spirit. How could these two sisters have strange source spirits? Meng Qingwu quickly asked, "Do you feel anything different? Does the mirror source spirit have any attack abilities?" "No, I don't feel any power being added to my body." Meng Yingying had a worried expression as she sighed and said, "It seems like a useless source spirit." Meng Qingwu's heart sank. Could it be that his little sister's source spirit was useless? She looked at Chu Tian with a pleading gaze. Now, she could only pray that Chu Tian could discover the characteristics of this source spirit. Chu Tian revealed a faint smile. "There is no true waste source spirit. Any kind of source spirit has its value. It's just a matter of how to excavate it." Meng Yingying's eyes lit up. Then, she lowered her head and pursed her lips. "Are you pretending to comfort me? Actually, I don't have to do this. I'm already very satisfied with my current achievements." This girl, why didn't she have any confidence? Chu Tian observed the mirror source spirit for a few minutes before he suddenly discovered something. His eyes lit up. "Yingying, keep your source spirit open. I'll teach you a fist art now. Observe it carefully and see how much you can remember." The Meng Qingwu sisters were very surprised. Everything was fine. Why was he teaching her a fist art? Chu Tian walked to the center of the small courtyard, and the mirror slowly approached. There was a faint reflection of Chu Tian's appearance. Chu Tian began to gather his qi, deliberately filling the entire process. He suddenly stepped forward, and his right fist shot out like a meteor. Rushing heaven fist. A fierce gust of wind came from his fist, causing the short trees in front of him to sway. Chu Tian slowly withdrew his spirit energy. "How is it? How much did you remember? You didn't say anything." Meng Qingwu was a bit confused. Teaching martial arts requires teaching heart cultivation, qi circulation methods, force usage techniques, and etc. If a person could learn it once, then there wouldn't be any secret martial arts in this world. Meng Yingying closed her eyes to think for a few minutes. Then she suddenly jumped like a rabbit, jumping into the center of the small courtyard. Her fists danced. She was very unfamiliar at first, but after practicing it twice, she immediately became proficient. It was almost the same as Chu Tian's. Suddenly, She threw out a punch. The wind from her fist flew out. It actually had 60 to 70% of the charm. Chu Tian nodded his head in satisfaction. Rushing Heaven Fist was a foundation martial art in the future. It was very refined and contained the truth of the Grand Tao. It was not something that could be easily learned. This martial art could be used by anyone with a low cultivation base. In the future, it would become stronger as one's cultivation base became stronger. Meng Qingwu was stunned. Meng Yingying's brain was not that smart. She was even a bit dumb. How could she learn it after seeing it once? She even imitated all kinds of qi circulation techniques. Meng Yingying's face turned red, revealing an excited and happy expression. I know. SOSO. Chu Tian shook his head. I will teach you the diamond vein severing finger. This martial art is very powerful. If you can master it, you can easily defeat your enemies in close combat. It can also be used to seal other people's cultivation base. It is suitable for dealing with captives. Watch carefully. Chu Tian demonstrated the diamond vein severing finger. The diamond vein severing finger was much more complicated than rushing Heaven Fist. How complicated were the meridians and acupoints of the human body? Different living beings and different races had different acupoints. The mysterious part of this finger technique was that it did not need to accurately hit the acupoint. As long as it hit a meridian, the finger force would automatically enter the acupoint or directly sever the meridian. When the entire set of martial arts was demonstrated, Meng Qingwu was dizzy and could not remember anything. Chu Tian stopped. It's your turn. All right. Meng Yingying began to practice. She was very unfamiliar with it first, but after practicing 4 or 5 times, there was not much difference between her and Chu Tian's. Yingying's source spirit's ability is imitation. That's right, this is a mirror source spirit. Because her strength is too low, she can only imitate basic martial arts. As her strength increases, her imitation ability becomes stronger and stronger. This is a source spirit with great potential. Meng Yingying said in a pleasantly surprised voice, Really? A mirror source spirit has a special characteristic. It becomes strong when it meets a strong opponent and weak when it meets a weak opponent. Chu Tian gave a narcissistic sigh. You really are lucky being together with a peerless expert like me. If you imitate me, it will be hard for you not to be strong in the future. Meng Yingying's heart filled with joy. This was truly great. Being able to follow in Chu Tian's footsteps, this was truly a fortunate matter. But her mouth still said, narcissistic. Meng Qingwu asked in a curious voice, Other than martial arts, can it also imitate other things? Of course it can. Chu Tian said to Meng Qingwu, Try releasing your source spirit. Meng Qingwu released her heavenly book source spirit. Meng Yingying also released her mirror source spirit. 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds. 10 seconds passed. Meng Qingwu withdrew her source spirit. What was strange was that inside Meng Yingying's mirror, there was still a book source spirit. Moreover, the mirror slowly melted like mercury, finally turning into a mercury book. Meng Qingwu revealed a shocked expression. It can even imitate a source spirit. If it was like this, then it was too terrifying. It was simply heaven-defying. It is impossible for a source spirit to completely imitate. It can only be temporarily imitated. But in the end, it is not your own. The imitated source spirit is incomplete and can only obtain a part of the effect. There is no room for growth and potential. Chu Tian did an experiment and took out the book for her to look at. Meng Yingying also had a strong memory, but compared to Meng Qingwu, there was still a gap. Moreover, Meng Yingying could only imitate basic abilities. The ancient memories recorded in the heavenly book could not be imitated by a mirror source spirit. Meng Yingying smiled as she said, This is great. With elder sister's learning ability, I used to read for 6 hours a day, but now I can finish it in 10 minutes. Moreover, I can remember it all. Try mine now. Chu Tian released the demon god's sword source spirit. Hey, I'll also learn your skills. Meng Yingying was now filled with confidence as she immediately used her mirror source spirit. 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds. Meng Yingying felt a strong sense of fatigue as she copied the source spirit. Moreover, the longer it took, the stronger the fatigue became. Around 8 seconds later, Meng Yingying cried out in fear. The mirror source spirit shattered, and the sword source spirit also disappeared. Meng Yingying's body went soft as she fell to the ground. Are you all right? I feel dizzy. As expected, the mirror source spirit was not omnipotent. The things the mirror could copy, there was an upper limit. When the energy was too strong, the source spirit could not copy it. No matter what was said, Meng Yingying's copying and copying ability was definitely not weak. Meng Yingying had many different source spirit abilities. Although they were all incomplete, there was still a large number of them. Chu Tian was worried that the potential of the two sisters was too low, but now it seemed like his worries were unnecessary. These two source spirits did not have any battle strength bonuses at this stage, but as they became stronger, their effects would not be inferior to any god-level source spirit. You rest first. Don't play with the source spirit for now. Chu Tian and Meng Qingwu helped Meng Yingying into the room. Yingying was lying on the bed with a pale face. It seemed like there were some things that could not be forced. Copying a source spirit that exceeded her abilities would cause a strong negative effect on her. How do you feel? I'm hungry. Chu Tian and Meng Qingwu both began to laugh. This silly girl, she really had thick nerves. When Meng Yingying saw the two of them laughing at her, she immediately said in an unconvinced voice, I've been in closed-door cultivation for 7 days, and I've only eaten a piece of dry rations every day. Good. I'll bring you something to eat. After Meng Qingwu left, Chu Tian stayed by her bedside to accompany her. At this time, a soft little hand reached out from the blanket and placed itself on Chu Tian's palm. It was like a ball of soft cotton. Chu Tian, thank you. Chu Tian was a bit stunned. She was like a startled rabbit, immediately shrinking back into the blanket. For the first time, Chu Tian did not tease her. He did not break this moment of warmth. This is just the beginning. We will definitely become better and better. Chu Tian, I know you are a person who would do great things. Meng Yingying was hidden in the blanket, only revealing a pair of beautiful big eyes. No matter where you go in the future, no matter what stage you develop to, me, an elder sister, will always be by your side to support you. Chu Tian gave a knowing smile. Relax and follow me. I'll bring you to create a new era. Really? What do you think? Then young Miss Yingying will have to wait and see. You're not allowed to brag. Meng Yingying's heart was filled with joy. If Chu Tian said it, then he would definitely be able to do it. Now that there was hope in life, it was very steady. The materials for the awakened soul pill had arrived. Chu Tian was confident that he could push the three of them to the awakened soul realm. The Tiantian Chamber of Commerce should have already sent out the goods. The nether flame grass that Chu Tian needed to cultivate the netherworld ghost flame should arrive in a few days. For defense, he had the starlight immortal body. For battle, he had the netherworld flame sword. His cultivation could break through to the awakened soul realm. There was no doubt that his strength would increase by more than 10 times. While Chu Tian was complacently planning, Meng Qingwu suddenly ran in and said to Chu Tian, the Nangong family's messenger is here. The mayor wants you to quickly go. Chapter 100. The Nangong family was one of the 3 great families of southern Xia. Their ancestors were the ancestors of the mushroom hair drinking tribe. Because they helped southern Xia in the war, they took root in the country. After several hundred years of development, their foundation was solid and they had a deep influence. They were one of the most powerful families in the kingdom. The envoy from a Nangong family had come to this small city. It had caused a stir in countless people. There was no need to mention the reason. Naturally, it was because of Chu Tian. Chu Tian quickly went to the mayor's palace. In the mayor's palace's reception hall, there were several dozen Nangong family guards wearing red armor, carefully guarding the surroundings. There was a 60-year-old man wearing a purple-red robe, holding a dark gold staff in his hand. His body was filled with a heavy and fanatical aura. His eyes were not big, but his gaze was like a torch, making it hard for people to look straight at him. This old man's cultivation base was very high, perhaps even higher than Nangong Yi's. Actually, within the awakened soul realm, there were 3 different stages. The higher the awakened soul realm, the stronger one was. The first layer to the 3rd layer was the early awakened soul realm, known as the void soul. The 4th layer to the 6th layer was the middle awakened soul realm, known as the illustrious soul. The 7th layer to the 9th layer was the late awakened soul realm, known as the true soul. Nangong Yi was at the peak of the triple awakened soul, but he was still in the void soul realm. As for the old man from the Nangong family, he had most likely reached the illustrious soul realm. The difference on the surface was not much, but the difference in spirit energy was very large. The most important point was that when the old man arrived at the mayor's palace, Nangong Yi took the initiative to let the old man sit in the main seat. As for the mayor, Nangong Yi, he could only sit on the side. The difference in status was very clear. Chu Tian has arrived. The guard at the door loudly shouted. A delicate and handsome young man walked in, wearing a simple blue robe. Sitting on his shoulder was a little white fox, carrying a simple sword on his back. Eyes as bright as the stars, that unrestrained temperament, made people feel a kind of inferiority. Ding, ding, dang, dang. A simple and ordinary bell was tied to his waist. With every step he took, it would ring a few times. The sound of the bell had a kind of soul-shaking power. As long as Chu Tian appeared, the audience would be completely silent. The 18 black-robed people stood outside the main hall. They did not follow Chu Tian in. The 18 black-robed people stood outside the main hall. They did not follow Chu Tian in. The old man also stopped tasting his tea. His torch-like gaze slowly swept over Chu Tian. Chu Tian immediately felt a powerful pressure. He really was worthy of being an illustrious soul realm awakened soul expert. Even if he didn't release his source spirit, he could still create a strong pressure. If it was an ordinary body refinement realm cultivator, not to mention walking, even standing would be a very difficult thing to do. Chu Tian only paused for a moment before he continued walking as if he didn't notice anything. Nangong Yi was very satisfied with Chu Tian's performance. He stood up and introduced him. Elder Nangong Hai, this young man is Chu Tian. He is the super genius I just mentioned to you. Nangong Hai's expression was lukewarm as he said in a questioning tone, Nangong Yi's evaluation of you in his letter is very high. Is that true? Nangong Yi secretly gave Chu Tian a look. His meaning was, don't speak for now. Nangong Yi replied for Chu Tian, Elder, to be honest, Chu Tian is the most talented young man I have ever seen in my life. The Nangong family has always been looking for talented people. I think we should take him in as a guest official to show the family's attitude of looking for talented people. The Nangong family's guest official position is not something you can give just because you want to. Nangong Hai's lukewarm attitude was hard to understand. The awakened soul realm is the most basic standard. If you don't even have the awakened soul realm, no matter how talented you are, the family will not accept you. Not to mention he wants 3 at once. Is being a guest official in the Nangong family like cabbages? Chu Tian discovered problem. The 2 of them came from the same family, but they were very unfamiliar with each other. There was even a gap between them. The large family was not as united as he imagined. The 2 of them in the Nangong family were not on the same side. There was even a conflict of interest. Nangong Yi was about to open his mouth. All right, let's not talk about the guest official position for now. Nangong Hai had already stood up and reprimanded Nangong Yi in front of everyone. The main reason I came to South Sky City is to investigate the conflict between you and the Ye family and the Chu family. Nangong Yi, you should know that the family transferred you to Central State to let you develop the Nangong family's influence in the Central State military and political circles. But don't look for excuses. The family is very disappointed in you. Nangong Yi knit his brows. I don't care what the family thinks of me, but this young man. Nangong Hai's tone became severe. Do you understand your mission? Not only did you not obtain the desired results for the family in Central State, but you also offended the large local family, causing a conflict between the large local family and the Nangong family. Because of your actions, the Nangong family will lose several strong supporters. Have you considered the big picture? Nangong firmly said, the large local family is just a group of jumping clowns. Why would the Nangong family care about their face? A just cause enjoys abundant support, while an unjust cause finds little support. Don't tell me you still don't understand this principle? Nangong Hai's tone became somewhat severe. Of course, I won't oppose you recruiting talented people, but don't forget your mission. Nangong, he was a bit angry. This kind of pedantic person, it was simply infuriating. The Ye family, Chu family, and Nangong family had won over the support of several families. But could it really compare to the support of a single Chu Tian? Nangong angrily said, Elder, your actions are like burning the bridge after crossing the river. I've already shown you this young man's work. Don't tell me you don't understand his talent. So why deliberately obstruct him? Obstruct? Humph. Nangong Hai stared at Chu Tian. Brat, let me ask you, why do you want to be the Nangong family's guest elder? Chu Tian frowned. He felt that today's matter wouldn't be so easy. If you don't want to say it, I'll help you say it. You've only offended a few large families, so you're desperate to find a protective umbrella. Nangong Hai said with a smile, since you want the Nangong family's protection, then you should show some sincerity. Only when you're truly loyal to the Nangong family will we consider giving you protection. But with such a two-faced approach, how can I recommend you? If you become a guest elder today and leave tomorrow, will the Nangong family put their face? What kind of fucking reason is this? Giving you the Nangong family's secret technique isn't it enough to exchange for a guest elder position? Even if I really leave, your Nangong family won't lose anything. Chu Tian had never been a good-tempered person. Since the Nangong family disdained him, then why bother? If that's the case, then I don't want to be a guest elder. Young man, you have the talent, but the method is wrong. Nangong Hai bluntly said, how about this? I'll accept you as a registered disciple on behalf of the family and take you away from the central state. You won't have to worry about the other families seeking revenge, and the Nangong, you won't deepen the conflict with the local clans because of you. This is good for everyone. Registered disciple? Fuck your registered disciple. Chu Tian couldn't help but feel a bit angry. So what if I'm a registered disciple? It's not even a fart. A mere registered disciple of an elder. Not only will he not get the Nangong family's protection, but he will also be restricted and even become a puppet. This old dog has ulterior motives. He clearly wants to keep me by his side and use me as a walking dictionary to squeeze out my value. Do you really think that I, Chu Tian, am an idiot? Nangong Hai did not allow him to argue. You come with me now. Nangong angrily said, I don't agree. Nangong, are you a member of the Nangong family or not? Please pay attention to your status. You don't have the qualifications to tell this elder what to do. Nangong Hai coldly looked at Nangong. No one can change the decision I've made. The whole matter had developed to this point. This was something that Nangong did not expect. When Nangong Hai was about to order the guards to directly take down Chu Tian, the entire mayor's palace suddenly began to violently shake. A terrifying pressure came from above South Sky City. Nangong Hai's two white hairs stood up, and he coldly shouted, Who dares to provoke the Nangong family? After saying this, he directly shot out from his seat and turned into a ray of light that shot out of the hall. In the sky, the wind and clouds changed. The wind howled. There was a brutal aura that filled the sky. The entire space was covered by a powerful pressure. Everyone couldn't help revealing a look of horror. This was the aura of an ancient beast. Could it be that a terrifying beast was passing through South Sky City? At this time, an incomparably large Jin Peng was slowly flying towards South Sky City. What kind of demon beast is this? When Nangong and Nangong Hai saw the Jin Peng, their eyebrows knit together. The Golden Peng was a very strong level 2 demon beast, but its strength was at most at the second awakened soul layer. It was not an ancient species. It could not release such a strong aura. Everyone quickly look. There's some on the back of the Jin Peng. The South Sky City crowd went into an uproar. The sound of people sucking in a breath of cold air came one after another. On the majestic golden pung, there was actually a white-clothed youth that looked to be around 20 years old. His hands were crossed in front of his chest, and his white robe was fluttering in the wind. Riding on the golden pung, his eyes were as handsome as a demon. The scene was very impressive. The impact of this scene was too strong. How could there be such a strong person in this world? That ancient beast, like aura, was being released from this person's body. Nangonghai could feel the other side's aura. To be able to release such a strong pressure, it was clear that he was an illustrious soul realm expert. He revealed a trace of anger. No matter who it is, daring to cause trouble in the Nangong family's territory. How could I let you go? A roar sounded. Nangonghai's body released a large amount of fire-red spirit energy. This spirit energy was different from a normal person's spirit energy. It was like a dense liquid that flowed around his body. The surging heat waves were very threatening. Magma source spirit? Nangonghai was truly worthy of being a member of the Nangong family. He had a pure fire attributed source spirit, and his spirit energy could turn into magma, possessing a terrifying destructive might. Nangonghai's body was covered in magma. His body became several times bigger, and he looked like a magma giant. Ha ha ha. I've long heard that the Nangong family's burning the heavens art is very overbearing. Let me experience it today. The young man jumped up and jumped off of the Jinpeng's back. His spirit energy was released, and a giant wolf appeared behind him. This wolf was very large, and its body was as black as jade. Its 4 feet were covered in flames. Its eyes were like torches, and there was a pair of incomparably large dragon wings on its 2 sides. The intimidating pressure of a fierce beast was released from this origin soul. Nangonghai and the monstrous young man fought for 3-4 rounds in the air. Flames soared into the sky, and wild winds raged. They were actually evenly matched. Nangonghai's heart was filled with amazement. This young man was only around 20 years old, but his cultivation base was this high. Even in the strong Nangong family, there weren't many geniuses like this. Ha ha ha. Truly worthy of being a middle awakened soul realm, illustrious soul realm expert from the Nangong family. This monstrous young man became braver the more he fought. He actually had the upper hand. His source spirit suddenly expanded and covered his entire body. The giant wolf seemed to come to life as it flapped its wings in the air and charged at Nangonghai. God Wolf, Heavenly Raid, burning the heavens fist. The magma around Nangonghai's body began to boil as he sent a fist flying into the air. The 2 strong forces collided, and many of the houses in South Sky City were set on fire. The surrounding people all began to flee in panic. There hadn't been a battle of this level in South Sky City in 100 years. The 2 of them were too strong. The monstrous young man was sent flying several feet. He was clearly lightly injured. Nangonghai had a trace of blood flowing from the corner of his mouth. His injuries were actually a bit heavier. Although their cultivations were similar, the monstrous young man's source spirit was stronger. I recognize it. Dragon-winged demonic flame wolf. This is the dragon-winged demonic flame wolf. This person is one of the Central State 4 young masters, Prince Tianlang, Yi Tianlang. Everyone looked at each other in amazement. No wonder this person was so strong. He was actually one of the famous Central State 4 young masters, the 3rd-ranked Prince Tianlang, Yi Tianlang. Chapter 101. The confrontation between the 2 top experts shocked the people of South Sky City. If they hadn't seen it with their own eyes, they wouldn't have believed that a person could be this strong. Chu Tian, quickly leave. Nangong Yi said to Chu Tian with a calm face. The current situation is not good for you. That old man Nangong Hai has hidden evil intentions, and Yi Tianlang is here to settle accounts with you. Leave? Could he leave? Chu Tian didn't even have an awakened soul realm cultivation. How could he escape from the palms of these 2 people? Since he couldn't leave, why would he run away in such a sorry state? Humph! Don't worry, Mayor. I'm not that easy to deal with. Nangong, you didn't think things would turn out like this. The Central State 4 young masters, each one was not a small matter. They were the most talented geniuses of the 4 great families. They were people who used the power of the entire family and invested millions upon millions of resources to train. Whether it was strength, influence, or influence, they were all at the peak of Central State. How could Chu Tian compete? Not to mention, there was a Nangong Hai. At this moment, when Nangong Hai understood Yi Tianlong's identity, he revealed a surprised expression. I never thought that the Central State Yef family would produce such a powerful person. Yi Tianlang seemed weightless as he flew through the air and slowly landed on the ground. His white robe made him look noble and aloof. His eyes, that were like a wolf's, flashed with a strange light. Elder Nangong Hai is indeed an expert of the Nangong family. This junior is also full of admiration. Nangong Hai was very clear in his heart. Yi Tianlang was giving him face. Although Nangong Hai's cultivation was higher than Yi Tianlong's, his source spirit and talent were far inferior. If they continued to fight, Nangong Hai wouldn't be able to last more than 50 moves. Under the watchful eyes of everyone, if he was defeated, where would his face be? Nangong Hai frowned and asked, Prince Tianlang came all the way to Tiannan City. I'm afraid it's not to compete with this old man, right? Yi Tianlong's lips curled into a devilish smile. I'm representing the Yef family to discuss an alliance with the Nangong family. The Yef family is willing to support the Nangong family. Nangong Hai's heart thumped. Yi Tianlang was a genius. The Yef family was also a mercenary family with many experts. If they could stand under the Nangong family's banner, it would definitely be a great help to the Nangong family. If he, Nangong Hai, came to the central continent and facilitated such a good thing, wouldn't that be a great merit for the family? The Yef family only has one condition. What condition? Yi Tianlong's eyes searched through the crowd. There's a little brat here called Chu Tian who used tricks to harm the Yef family elders and cripple 7 of the Yef family's experts. This caused my Yef family to be shamed, and we are like fire and water. The elders don't want to see the alliance between the two families be destroyed by an unrelated small character. Right? Nangong Hai laughed. I thought it was a big deal. It's just a little brat. Of course I can let you torture him. But this person is still useful to me. So I hope you can spare his life and let me bring him back. Yi Tianlong's brows knit together. Since I'm here, he must die. Young Master Yi, please be at ease. Nangong Hai solemnly vowed. You can completely cripple him, never to rise again, and I will be responsible for the rest of his days. He will live a life worse than death. How about this? All right. Yi Tianlang thought it was a good idea. Then let me first cut off his limbs bit by bit, crush all his bones so that he can never stand up and forever become a useless cripple. Chu Tian is here. Nangong Hai didn't care. Do as you please. Absolutely not. Nangong Hai coldly looked at Nangong, who stood out. The Yef family is famous in Zhongzhou. Can one person be more important than the support of the entire Zhongzhou Yef family? Idiot. Nangong angrily stared at Nangong Hai, losing his mind and roaring. No matter how much sand and stones there are, how can they compete with a divine diamond? As long as I can still stand today, I will not allow this to happen. Nangong Hai, what a big idiot. Didn't he know that his way of doing things would make Chu Tian hate the Nangong family? This was planting a seed of destruction for the Nangong family. Chu Tian definitely had the ability to destroy the entire family. He definitely had it. The volcano source spirit was released. Nangong Hai flew into a rage. Nangong, you have no one in your eyes, looking down on your elders. Do you want to violate the family rules? Since it's like this old man will teach you a lesson on behalf of the family head. Elder Nangong, calm your anger. Yi Tianlang leisurely took a step forward, releasing the fierce dragon-winged demonic flame wolf. I've long heard that the Nangong family's Nangong is very strong, possessing the powerful volcano source spirit, but I never had a chance to ask for it. How about we take this chance today and have a good competition with Mayor Nangong? Nangong, he had repeatedly protected Chu Tian. This could be said to have angered the Yef family. Yi Tianlang wanted to take this chance to fiercely teach Nangong a lesson. He wanted to let this fellow know who had the final say in Central State. Nangong Hai knew what Yi Tianlang was thinking. This old man is too lazy to make a move. I'll have to trouble Prince Tianlang. Nangong Yi's eyes almost popped out of their sockets. This old bastard. Truly hateful. The situation was very bad. One was Yi Tianlang. One was Nangong Hai. Both of them were fourth awakened soul layer illustrious soul realm experts, while Nangong, he was only at the peak of the triple awakened soul void soul realm. The gap between the triple awakened soul and the fourth awakened soul layer was very large. With Nangong Yi's strength, he could not beat either one of them. Could he really protect Chu Tian from two illustrious soul realm experts? Is Mayor Nangong prepared? Nangong Yi revealed a cautious expression. Monster wolf transformation. Transform into my body. Yi Tianlang gave a long roar, and the dragon-winged demonic flame wolf's source spirit turned into strands of black flames. It was like a layer of armor that was evenly distributed around Yi Tianlang's body. Man and wolf as one. Spirit and body as one. At this moment, Yi Tianlang had turned into a half-man, half-wolf monster. That pair of demonic eyes had now turned into a demonic green color. This is the central state Ye family's inherited cultivation technique. Monster wolf transformation. Whether it was the Chu family's soul sword secret art, the Ye family's monster wolf transformation, or the Nangong family's burning the heavens art, they were all cultivation techniques that were compatible with the family bloodline. Not only was it easier to cultivate, it was also more compatible with one's source spirit, allowing one to display a stronger battle strength. Yi Tianlang was surrounded by a fierce aura. He was like an ancient demonic wolf that had just awoken from its slumber. With a cruel and playful gaze, he looked at the prey in front of him. Nangong Yi. What a joke. Yi Tianlang turned into a blur as he charged forward. His spirit energy condensed into a wolf claw on his right arm. The black claw glow left behind 5 deep marks on the walls. The walls on both sides were completely torn apart. With an incomparably threatening aura, he charged at Nangong Yi. Nangong Yi's hands suddenly came together. Volcano shield. The volcano seemed like it had been suppressed for tens of thousands of years. Like a broken dam, it spat out a surge of energy that condensed into an incomparably large barrier. The black claw glow shattered the barrier, but did not harm Nangong Yi, who was behind the barrier. Nangong Yi seized this chance and sent out a flaming fist at Yi Tianlang. Yi Tianlang was a bit surprised as he used his left fist to meet the attack. The two fists collided. Half the windows of the buildings on the street were shattered by the fierce strength. The air instantly exploded and dust was blown into the air. Many of the weaker people fainted on the spot. Yi Tianlang was forced back several steps. A trace of blood leaked from the corner of Nangong Yi's mouth. The volcano source spirit was truly strong. Although it was not a top-level god-level source spirit, it still had a very wild strength. Because he had the volcano source spirit, Nangong Yi's spirit energy was 2-3 times stronger than other cultivators of the same level. Nangong Yi had the volcano source spirit. Although he was at the peak of the triple awakened soul, he could still kill a third illustrious soul cultivator. This Nangong Yi was very strong. It was a pity that he was born in the wrong family. The Nangong family had too many geniuses. If he was born in one of the Central State 4 families, with his talent, he would have received the same training as the Central State 4 young masters. The volcano source spirit was very strong, but it had a clear weakness. The volcano source spirit had a terrifying destructive might and also had a strong spirit energy. However, the volcano could not continuously erupt. Nangong Yi released a spirit energy shield, which was enough to block Yi Tianlang's full strength attack. But when he sent out a fist, its might was indeed a lot weaker. Yi Tianlang hastily received it, but he was still able to injure it. The volcano source spirit could only erupt for a moment, and Nangong Yi's battle strength would increase by several times. When the source spirit calmed down and began to brew again, Nangong Yi's strength would decrease by a large amount. He would be no different from a normal triple awakened soul expert. Mayor Nangong has some skills. Let's try this move again. Tianlang's prey hunt. The dragon-winged demonic flame wolf's source spirit jumped out from Yi Tianlong's body and turned into 4 small wolves in the air. Each small wolf turned into a black shadow that was hard to see with the naked eye. They moved as fast as lightning around Nangong Yi. Pong! Nangong Yi's back was hit by a palm. Chi! Nangong Yi's chest was hit by a claw. After being attacked 4 or 5 times in a few seconds, the 4 wolves charged at him at the same time, preparing to bite different parts of his body. Nangong Yi had no choice but to release the volcano's spirit energy and heavily slap the ground, burning heaven-splitting earth palm. The surging volcano's spirit energy erupted. The thick volcano's spirit energy was like 10,000 horses galloping as it swept across the street. The stone floor within several meters began to crack as it was melted by the high temperature of the volcano's spirit energy. Nangong Yi released his strength once more. This was a good chance. Yi Tianlang once again fused with his source spirit and turned back into a wolfman. Several dozen attacks landed on Nangong Yi from different directions. The last palm landed on Nangong Yi's back and sent him crashing into a thick wall, causing the entire wall to collapse. Nangong Hai was not angry. Rather, he was rejoicing in other people's misfortune. It seemed like he was very happy to see Nangong Yi being beaten. The difference in strength was already very clear. Nangong Yi angrily roared as he jumped out of the rubble. However, his mayor's robe was already in tatters, his hair was disheveled, and his face was covered in blood. It was clear that he had been heavily injured. His eyes were filled with battle intent. Nangong Yi had faith. He definitely could not lose this battle. Chu Tian's potential and Chu Tian's danger. Nangong Yi had a deep feeling. The Nangong family could not obtain this genius, but they could not become enemies with him. Otherwise, in just a few years, this 1,000-year inheritance, hundreds of years of development, and a large family with an excellent bloodline would face the danger of being exterminated. This was not alarmist talk. Chu Tian definitely had the ability to do this. Your will is quite strong. Yi Tianlang turned into a shadow as he charged forward and kicked Nangong Yi's chest. Nangong Yi spat out a large mouthful of blood. Even his source spirit was scattered on the spot. He was once again knocked to the ground, unable to climb back up. Yi Tianlang's attack was too heavy. With Nangong Yi's injuries, if he didn't stay in bed for 2-3 months, it would be hard for him to recover. Mayor Nangong Yi's volcano source spirit. It seems like it's only so. This really disappoints me. Yi Tianlang, in front of the South Sky City citizens and in front of Nangong Hai, had unscrupulously humiliated the mayor. The citizens all revealed looks of anger. This Yi Tianlang was too excessive. Nangong Yi was a good mayor and had the support of the people in South Sky City. He had not only humiliated Nangong Yi, he had humiliated the entire South Sky City. Mayor, the F family is too much of a bully. Yi Tianlang casually waved his hand. Scram. Those people were like wheat being cut. They instantly fell down, spitting out mouthfuls of blood. Their injuries were not light. It's over. Completely over. This was clearly a youth with the ability to change the world and strengthen the entire southern Xia. Did they really have to watch him fall? At this time, a few clear bell sounds rang in everyone's ears. Ding-dang, ding-dang. Everyone felt like they were in a trance. Chu Tian walked out from the crowd. His eyes looked at Yi Tianlang, then swept over Nangong Hai, and finally fell on Nangong Yi, revealing a profound smile. The Nangong family is a family with the immortal bird as their totem. You claim to be the inheritors of the immortal bird, but do you really understand the essence of the immortal bird? Chu Tian seemed to be talking to himself. Although his voice was very soft, it was deafening. What did he mean by that? The Nangong ancestors used the immortal bird as their totem. I think it was to warn their descendants to be as proud as the immortal bird. Even if they had to go through a disaster, even if their bones were crushed, they would still be able to rise from the ashes. As long as they have the conviction to rise from the ashes, the immortal bird will never die. This is the true spirit of the immortal bird. Nangong Yi was slightly startled. Chu Tian's eyes fell on Nangong. Haven't you noticed? Your potential is thousands of times stronger than this bullshit Nangong Hai. When you fearlessly challenge stronger opponents, you have already touched the bottleneck. Go and try to break through. Really? Why didn't I feel it myself? Let me lend you a hand. Chu Tian recited a complex and profound Heart Sutra. It was a fragment of the great Nirvana Heart Sutra. Nangong, he had been stuck at the peak of the triple awakened soul for a long time. Actually, he was like Yin Yao, having the possibility of breaking through at any time. As long as he received the right guidance, he would definitely be able to break through the bottleneck. From the moment Nangong, he made his move, Chu Tian decided to help him. Yi Tianlang felt strange. Who is he? Nangong Hai smiled and said, Prince Tianlang specially came to South Sky City to find Chu Tian. Now that he is standing in front of you, you actually don't recognize him? This was Chu Tian? He truly had a peerless elegance. Yi Tianlong's eyes turned cold and cruel. You still dare to stand out after seeing me. I can't help but admire your courage, but let's end it here. Not to mention that Nangong, he could not break through. Even if he did, he was heavily injured. Even if he was at the fourth awakened soul layer, he could not stop him. Not to mention, there was still Nangong Hai beside him. Today, no one could protect Chu Tian. Chapter 102. Nangong, he seemed to have fallen into an unprecedented state. It was as if he had understood something, but he couldn't grasp it. Each of Chu Tian's words entered his ears like thunder from the nine heavens, fiercely attacking his soul. His originally exhausted aura was slowly being restored. Moreover, it was quickly becoming stronger. Nangong Hai's expression changed. How could there be such a monstrous person in this world? Could it be that a few words could make someone break through? Yi Tianlang was also stunned. This scene was simply a miracle. Nangong Yi's aura became stronger and stronger, like a giant volcano slowly awakening. He slowly stood up and said word for word, Nangong Hai, you've won over a small clan for the small benefits in front of you. You've killed a hero, trampled on your own clan, and disregarded your family's dignity. You are not worthy of being the Phoenix's successor. Nangong Yi's aura became stronger and stronger, as if it was endlessly increasing. A vigorous heat wave was released. That strong aura made Nangong Hai take half a step back. At this moment, Nangong, he seemed to have turned into a terrifying doomsday volcano. The doomsday flames from hell had been brewing for tens of thousands of years. Once it erupted, the heavens and earth would be destroyed, and all living things would be exterminated. Roar! Nangong, he gave a loud roar into the sky. The red flames soared into the sky, and the vigorous aura pierced through the clouds, scattering the clouds above him. The surrounding several miles were covered in a wild energy that was violently trembling. Power! This was power. Nangong, he was like Nangong Hai and Yi Tianlang. Even if he didn't summon his source spirit, he could still release a strong aura to suppress his enemies. This was a sign of the illustrious soul realm. This meant that in this short moment, Nangong, he had already broken through the early awakened soul realm's void soul realm and reached the intermediate awakened soul realm's illustrious soul realm. He was already a strong cultivator at the fourth awakened soul layer. From this moment on, Nangong, he was no longer a senior deacon of the Nangong family. He already had the qualifications to become an elder. From now on, he was on the same level as Nangong Hai. Nangong Hai's face was full of shock. He actually broke through. Nangong, he laughed heartily, then turned to Chu Tian and cupped his fists. I will never forget the kindness of your guidance. Chu Tian smiled. You have already reached the opportunity to break through. What I did was nothing more than lifting a finger. Don't mention it. Another wave of ferocious berserk beast chi gushed out. So what if I broke through? Yi Tianlang roared furiously, die. He dashed forward with instant step. He punched out. Nangong, he tilted his body slightly and avoided the lightning-fast punch by a millimeter. This made Yi Tianlang's pupils shrink slightly. Hyperfocus. That's right. Not only had Nangong, he achieved a breakthrough, but he had also comprehended the profound meaning of minute's subtlety. Scram! Nangong Yi gave a roar, and the power of the volcano was released. Yi Tianlang was sent flying. He flipped several dozen times in the air before the power dissipated and he landed on the ground. At this time, Nangong Yi clenched his fists. His body was covered in flames, and his spirit energy was at its peak. When his cultivation reached the fourth awakened soul layer, his strength could even defeat a fifth awakened soul layer expert. This was the power of the volcano source spirit. Didn't Prince Tianlang want to experience the might of the volcano source spirit? Nangong Yi looked at Yi Tianlang with a cold smile. Today, I'll let you experience it to your heart's content. Yi Tianlang's monstrous face could no longer remain calm. The volcano source spirit is at its peak. This attack is enough to kill a fifth awakened soul layer cultivator. We must work together to block it. Nangong Hai nodded. All right. Nangong Yi gathered the volcano source spirit energy into his fist and released it at the two of them. A vast and mighty power surged out. Yi Tianlang and Nangong Hai worked together to block it. Half the houses on the street were heavily damaged. All the glass within 5 kilometers shattered. It was like a terrifying explosion. Nangong Hai and Yi Tianlang's clothes were burnt black, and their faces were covered in dust. They looked very embarrassed. But the lucky thing was that they had blocked Nangong Yi's attack. Nangong Yi's face turned pale. His body swayed, and he spat out a mouthful of blood. No, his injuries were too heavy. Adding in the fact that he had just broken through, his realm was not stable. In this kind of situation, he could not fight anymore. Nangong Hai revealed a look of jealousy. Nangong Yi was born in a branch of the Nangong family. He did not have many resources since he was young, but he had awakened a powerful volcano source spirit. Moreover, he had a daughter who had the potential to condense a god-level source spirit. Because of the father and daughter's great potential, staying in Imperial City would destroy the family's benefits, so the family sent Nangong Yi to a small city to be the mayor. Who would have thought that in this kind of barren place? Nangong Yi had actually grown up. He was only 39 years old. He was already an illustrious soul realm expert. Chu Tian clapped his hands and calmly walked forward. He could see that Nangong Yi was an arrow at the end of its flight and could not continue fighting. All right, this is enough. This matter started because of me, so I have to personally take care of it. Moreover, you've been in the limelight enough, so it's my turn to perform. Chu Tian did not panic at all. His bright eyes stared at Yi Tianlang. Let me deal with this fellow. What? Chu Tian wanted to personally make a move. Yi Tianlang's monstrous eyes flashed with a cold glow. People have made you sound like a god. I didn't believe them at first, but it seems like it really is the case today. The Chu family is truly blind, actually treating you like an abandoned chess piece. But it's all over, no matter what. I won't let you leave here alive. Chu Tian had to die. He couldn't even take a single breath. Otherwise, even if he was crippled, he would still have a chance to threaten the Ye family. Chu Tian directly walked up. Just a little rat, and you want to take me down? Nangong Yi asked in a daze. Are you serious? Chu Tian nodded and said, Back off, let's watch the show. Where did Chu Tian's confidence come from? Other than Nangong Yi, Yi Tianlang did not place anyone else in his eyes. Even if it was Nangong Yi, Yi Tianlang would not necessarily lose. After all, he was also a super genius. You don't even have an awakened soul realm cultivation. Killing you is as easy as turning my hand. I agree with this point. Chu Tian gently snapped his fingers. However, I want to introduce my guards to you first. Come, little ones, greet young Master Yi. 18 black-robed people slowly walked out. Yi Tianlang used his wolf instincts and instantly felt that among the 18 black-robed people, even the weakest one had a cultivation base at the second awakened soul layer. How could Chu Tian have this many experts by his side? This was completely illogical. Yi Tianlang was still disdainful. What a joke. You think you can beat me with numbers? You're too naive. Not to mention a trivial 18. Even if there were 38, I would still kill my way out and take your head. I'll give it a try. Chu Tian gently shook the bell. The 18 corpse soldiers that had been standing like statues, not moving at all, suddenly woke up from their slumber. They all jumped up at the same time, and like 18 shadows, they instantly surrounded Yi Tianlang. Yi Tianlang gave a low roar and suddenly turned into a human wolf. Stepping off the ground, he shot out. His wolf claws ignored the corpse soldiers and directly attacked Chu Tian. However, Yi Tianlang had just moved. 18 ruthless corpse poison palms attacked Yi Tianlang from different positions. Yi Tianlang's heart slightly trembled. He had no choice but to avoid the Yin corpse's attacks. The 18 Yin corpses retreated as soon as they came in contact. They scattered around Yi Tianlang. They moved around each other, taking care of each other. That seemingly chaotic formation actually contained a mysterious meaning. What was going on? Yi Tianlang's sharp senses felt danger. The auras of the 18 mysterious black-robed people completely fused into one. Their movements and steps were very strange, like a single hair moving the whole body. It was like a giant spirit array, suppressing Yi Tianlang in the center, making it impossible for Yi Tianlang to display his full strength. Chu Tian saw Yi Tianlang's serious expression. He immediately laughed and taunted, "What? You don't dare move. I'm just standing here. Come and kill me." 18 Dragon Trap Array. This was an offensive and defensive array, filled with mysteries. It required at least 18 awakened soul cultivators to form a battle array. This kind of array was very difficult to practice. Not only did the 18 people have to think it through, they also had to go through a lot of practice. Normally, it was an array that the nobles trained their guards to protect their masters. Chu Tian held the soul-controlling bell in his hand and used the bell to control the corpse soldiers. These 18 corpse soldiers did not have any consciousness. They were like 18 chess pieces in Chu Tian's hands, so he could control them at will, forming any battle array. Dang, 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 dang. A burst of crisp bell sounds echoed in his ears. The 18 black shadows moved at high speeds, creating strange phantoms, making Yi Tianlang feel his mind go into a trance, not knowing where to break through. Good chance. Chu Tian seized this moment of opportunity. He immediately controlled the 18 corpse soldiers, combining them in pairs, charging forward at the same time. The corpse poison gathered together, forming a giant corpse poison ball, suddenly covering Yi Tianlang inside. Roar! Yi Tianlang roared out, wanting to break through, but saw a pair of palms blocking in front of him. "You're just like an ant." Scram! Yi Tianlang's palms struck out, for palms facing each other, with a hong sound, a cunning and sinister palm strength, like it could topple the mountains and overturn the seas. It made his body feel numb, and he was instantly sent flying. Yi Tianlang revealed a horrified expression. How could a second or third layer fellow send him flying? If the corpse soldiers were alone, it was impossible for them to exchange palms with Yi Tianlang. That attack just now was several dozen of them lined up, gathering their strength into one, instantly sending it to the Yin corpse in front, and then exploding it all at once. Yi Tianlang did not see the situation clearly, directly meeting the attack. It would be strange if he wasn't heavily injured. Yi Tianlang did not have time to catch his breath. The corpse soldiers all charged forward. Their attacks were like waves, wave after wave, endlessly. Yi Tianlang was stretched. He was in a very difficult situation. Prince Tianlang? Such a great reputation, but he doesn't seem to live up to his name. Look at your current appearance. What's the difference between you and a stray dog? Chu Tian used the soul-controlling bell to disturb him, while also using words to provoke him. "I think you might as well change your name to the stray dog, young master." When had Yi Tianlang ever suffered this kind of humiliation? Anger attacked his heart. Pooh! He spat out a large mouthful of black blood. This is bad. He's been poisoned. Yi Tianlang could not understand, no matter how he thought about it. How did things develop like this? With his strength, sweeping across South Sky City, capturing Chu Tian, wasn't this as easy as turning his hand? Now, not only did he not capture Chu Tian, He was being pressured step by step by Chu Tian. He had already been seriously injured. There was a risk of defeat at any moment. The citizens of South Sky City were all dumbstruck. Was this scene real? Was this really one of the Central State four young masters? Within the Central State area, among the younger generation, one of the four most dazzling geniuses with a peerless style, stepping on a golden eagle, alone, proudly descending upon South Sky City, defeating the mayor. No one could stop him. Everyone thought that with Prince Tianlang personally descending, in front of this overwhelming strength, Chu Tian would be unable to escape. No one thought that. Chu Tian was not afraid. Even without Nangong Yi's breakthrough, he still had the ability to deal with Prince Tianlang. Now, as if he was playing around, he easily suppressed Prince Tianlang, letting the 18 bodyguards beat him into a sorry state, like a stray dog. Despicable villain. Using numbers to bully the few. What kind of ability is that? Using numbers to bully the few? Why don't you talk about what kind of conduct your Ye family has? You little brat dare to come alone to kill me. Then no matter what, I will not let you leave unscathed. It's decided. Today, Chu Tian was prepared to use his actions to give the Ye family, as well as all the powers in Central State, a fierce blow and lesson, to let them deeply understand a principle. Provoke the King of Hell. Don't provoke Chu Tian. Chapter 103. The 18 corpse soldiers were like shadows, moving in a strange and unpredictable manner. There were thousands of changes at every moment, forming a whole body of strength. Even if Yi Tianlang had an overwhelming strength, he still couldn't find a way to break through them. Now he was trapped alive inside. The Yin corpses were covered in runes as they spat out a large amount of corpse poison at the same time, condensing into a poison ball that shot out at high speed. The 18 poison balls gathered together and suddenly exploded, turning into a giant poison pillar that shot out at Yi Tianlang. A single attack condensed the poison of 18 Yin corpses. Yi Tianlang's palms swept out to block it, but the terrifying strength pushed him back several meters. A large amount of corpse poison seeped into his body, making Yi Tianlang feel a wave of numbness. Despicable. This old man will help you. Nangong Hai was about to make a move, but volcanic power gathered under his feet, instantly locking onto Nangong Hai. Nangong Yi coldly stared at him. If you take another half step forward, don't blame me for not considering the feelings of the same clan. Nangong Hai's face turned pale, but he didn't dare make a move. Under the siege of the corpse soldiers, Yi Tianlang's hair was disheveled and his clothes were tattered. Moreover, he had been covered in corpse poison for a long time. He was already deeply poisoned. It was hard for him to continue. There was no other way. He had underestimated the strength of Chu Tian's side, but it didn't matter. He would let this brat live for another 2 days. Once he returned with the Ye family's experts, let's see how arrogant he would be. Just wait for me. This young master will spare your life today. But don't think it's over. Yi Tianlang angrily released his strength to push back the surrounding corpse soldiers, jumping towards the Golden Pung. The Golden Pung felt its master's call and flew over South Sky City, circling at high speeds, ready to help its master. This vicious beast-like man, after meeting Chu Tian, he had no choice but to return. When the citizens saw this, they were all excited. Central State's 4 young masters, the 4 most dazzling pearls of Central State. Now it seemed like they were only SOSO. Chu Tian's lips curled into a taunting smile. Escape? Do you think you can escape? Chu Tian seemed to be able to predict Yi Tianlang's every move. Yi Tianlang was just about to jump onto the rock's back when 2 corpse soldiers jumped up and grabbed one of Yi Tianlang's legs, pulling him down. Before Yi Tianlang could land on the ground, 2 more people rushed over from the left and right and grabbed his hands, making it impossible for him to move them. At this moment, 4 corpse soldiers leaped into the air and stomped down from above Yi Tianlang. No! Yi Tianlang was stomped into the ground from midair, and the surrounding several meters of hard stone ground all caved in. This attack was not light. Even a fourth awakened soul layer expert would be heavily injured. You want to come and go as you please. Chu Tian coldly said. Does Tianan City have your own latrine? Since you've come to kill me with such great fanfare, you should first think about the price you'll have to pay to kill me. The golden eagle gave a long cry and soared into the sky, preparing to leave. Chu Tian looked up. Since this large bird is following your grandson, it must not be a good bird, so you can stay with me. The corpse soldiers soared into the sky and attacked the golden eagle. After several rounds of attacks, the golden eagle gave a pitiful cry and fell into the city, crushing several buildings. It was already on its last breath. Damn, this rock was a rare beast. It had not fully matured yet, otherwise it would be at least in the illustrious soul realm. This was something the Ye family had used all sorts of methods to obtain. It was given to the next family head as a mount and was used as the family's guardian beast. Yi Qianlong's eyes popped out. You dare injure my mount? Injure your mount? Chu Tian walked in front of Yi Tianlang and stepped on his face. I think you should worry about yourself first. You didn't even finish. The Yin corpses grabbed onto Yi Tianlong's hands and feet. The other Yin corpses also charged forward, placing their poison palms on Yi Tianlong's body, releasing corpse poison at close range onto Yi Tianlang. No, no. Yi Tianlang felt his body being corroded by the corpse poison. He didn't have any strength left. I am the successor of the Ye family. If you dare touch a single hair of mine, the Ye family will chase you to the ends of the earth. Chu Tian's indifferent and emotionless eyes. It made his heart tremble. Fear. Finally fear. He had already understood. He had provoked a madman. This kind of threat, not only did it not have any use, it would make his situation even worse. He was the dignified Prince Tianlang, infinitely elegant and talented, the successor of the Ye family mercenaries, the future leader of over 100,000 mercenaries. He was the dignified Prince Tianlang, sweeping across Central State, invincible. Other than the super experts of the older generation, only Chu Xinghe and Luo Xianglong could be considered as opponents. He was the dignified Prince Tianlang, respected by tens of thousands of people, feared by tens of thousands of people. No matter where he went, he would receive the highest respect and treatment. No matter what he did, no one dared to say a single word. Now, an unknown Chu Tian had come out of nowhere. With just a dozen subordinates, he had easily defeated him. Enough. Let him go. Nangong Hai's face was dark. Can you withstand the anger of the Ye family? If I let him go now, will the Ye family give up their revenge? Ridiculous. If you keep talking, I'll beat you too. I don't like you at all. Nangong Hai retreated 2 steps in fright. If Chu Tian really wanted to make a move against him, could he stop him? He looked at Yi Tianlong's fate and could not help but dispel the thought of standing up for him. Coward, I don't even want to hit you. Chu Tian spat and then lightly snapped his fingers, letting the corpse soldiers carry the paralyzed and unable to move Yi Tianlang. If the Ye family wants revenge, let them come. This stray dog young master, father will accept him. Yi Tianlang shouted in fright. What are you doing? The Ye family's cavalry will flatten Tianan City. Not only will you die, the people around you, even the entire city will be buried with you. Chu Tian slapped him. Yi Tianlong's face was slapped swollen. His eyes were blood red. Shame, incomparable shame. He had never been slapped in the face before. Even Chu Xinghe could not do this to him. But he, Chu Tian, dared to do this. Stray dog young master, don't worry, I won't kill you. You still have a use for it. Chu Tian waved his hand. Let's go, I'll take you shopping. How impressive was Prince Tianlang when he arrived. He was the #1 genius that the Ye family had spent countless resources to raise. He was practically the family's successor. Now, not only was he captured alive by Chu Tian, he was also going to be patrolled by Chu Tian. If this matter were spread, not only would Prince Tianlong's reputation be tarnished, the entire Ye family would be shamed. Did Chu Tian think about the consequences? Of course he thought about it. What was there to be afraid of? Based on what Chu Tian had done, the Ye family would not let him off. They would not rest until he was dead, so he did not mind drawing more hatred. Prince Tianlang had lost all his fighting strength. His hair was disheveled, and he was in a sorry state. He glared at Chu Tian and let out a series of shameful roars. Do you have a lot of self-esteem? Are you very confident in your own strength? Today, I'll let you have a taste of my power. Chu Tian tied Yi Tianlang to a large flag, got his men to find more than 10 loudspeakers, and personally carried Yi Tianlang through the streets. He scolded Yi Tianlang as he walked with the loudspeakers. Yi Tianlang's 18 generations of ancestors were scolded once. Not a single word was repeated from beginning to end. Fellow citizens, the influential people of Zhongzhou have gone too far. Prince Tianlang does not have anything to be afraid of. I, Chu Tian, will protect him, so everyone does not need to be afraid. If you have rotten eggs and bricks, then don't hide them. Take them out and throw them all. Let these nobles see. We, the common people, are also ambitious. We're not people they can casually trample on. Chu Tian's crazy incitement made the citizens' blood boil. There really were some daring citizens who found rotten eggs and tomatoes to throw at Yi Tianlang. Yi Tianlang was seething with anger. What kind of arrogant person was he? No one in Zhongzhou City dared to disrespect him. But now, commoners dared to use rotten eggs and tomatoes to humiliate him. These commoners had this kind of courage because of their relationship with Chu Tian. As long as Chu Tian was here, there was no problem that could not be solved. This was just the beginning. Since someone took the lead to throw rotten eggs and tomatoes, countless people began to follow. How could they not follow? This was the heavenly wolf young master. A single breath from him could instantly kill dozens of their families. A single strand of hair from his leg was worth 100 times more than the lives of their entire family. This fierce and illustrious heavenly wolf young master, who could even seriously injure the city lord, was now being bullied and humiliated by them. How many chances did this person have in his lifetime? If they did not cherish it, they would have wasted their lives. Everyone move out of the way. A butcher-dressed man charged out of the crowd and threw a giant basin at Yi Tianlang's head. In that instant, urine and feces flowed and the stench filled the air. Prince Tianlang almost fainted from the disgust. This is my family's half a year's worth of savings. Now it's all yours. The muscles on the butcher's face twitched as he laughed maniacally. Surnamed Yi, my son died in your hands all those years ago. Now the tables have turned. The heavens have opened their eyes. The heavens have opened their eyes. Everyone became even crazier. The entire street was completely surrounded. Rotten eggs, rotten tomatoes, vegetable leaves, stones, urine and feces were everywhere. Weren't you very arrogant? Didn't you view the lives of commoners as worthless? Didn't you like to bully the weak and trample on others? Now I'll let you have a taste of your dignity being trampled on. There was only one sentence to describe it. The entire city had gone crazy, probably because they were infected by Chu Tian's demeanor. Their courage increased by countless times. Those who had grudges would take revenge. Those who had no grudges would join the fun. Yi Tianlang's entire body stank. Feces, urine, rotten eggs, rotten tomatoes. They were practically all over his body. His white robe had long been soaked to the point of incomparable stench. He was simply about to collapse. They were almost done patrolling the streets. Chu Tian threw Yi Tianlang to the person beside him. Go, tie this guy up to the city wall. I want everyone who enters and exits the city to see the heroic bearing of our stray dog young master. Ruthless, so ruthless. It was better to provoke the king of hell than to provoke brother Tian. Chu Tian, Chu Tian. Xiong Tianyin ran in front of Chu Tian. What should we do with the eagle that Yi Tianlang left behind? Do you still need to ask? Chu Tian licked his lips. Someone, drag it to the plaza and bring out the best wine from the hotel. Miracle Commerce will set up a banquet and let the commoners eat good meat and wine. The expenses will be paid by Miracle Commerce. It's my treat. Ha ha ha. Awesome. Awesome. Xiong Tianyin turned his head and shouted. Did you hear that? Chu Tian is treating everyone to wine and meat. Long live Chu Tian! Long live Chu Tian! Long live Chu Tian! Everyone started cheering. When Yi Tianlang saw this, his vision turned black, and he fainted on the spot. Chapter 104. Chu Tian stabbed the golden-winged Peng's neck with his sword, drawing out its blood, plucking out its feathers, and removing its skin and bones. The several dozen-ton giant Peng was cut into 8 pieces. Under Chu Tian's guidance, Zhang Liqing and the other symbol masters completed an incomparably large barbecue source energy array in the South Sky City Square. Large pieces of meat were skewered together, covered in a layer of fragrant beast oil, and then roasted with the source energy array. When the meat was roasted until it was red with oil, an alluring fragrance filled the square. Everyone who smelled it couldn't help but drool. Level 2 demon beast meat. Not only was it precious, it was also very nutritious. Everyone cut the meat into small pieces and added salt, pepper, and other seasonings. Large plates were brought out, allowing the citizens to taste and enjoy it for free. Along with a barrel of cold beer, it was truly an incomparably large open-air barbecue feast. This was a rare beast that was worth several million gold coins. This was a demon beast that had the potential to become an illustrious soul realm expert. Chu Tian treated it like a normal beast and slaughtered it to roast. The golden-winged Peng's flesh contained a very strong energy. It was enough to strengthen one's body, improve one's physique, and even increase one's cultivation base. A normal person would never be able to eat it in their lifetime. Now it was free for everyone to enjoy. Where else could they find this kind of good thing? Of course, because the golden-winged Peng's energy was too strong, a normal person would feel their body heat up after eating a small bite. They would not dare eat anymore, and normal body refinement cultivators would find it hard to bear. A roasted great Peng. Everyone present could taste it. Chu Tian sat on a large piece of bone. His left hand was holding a large piece of meat, and his right hand was holding a large jar of wine. Eating large mouthfuls of meat and drinking large mouthfuls, it was very satisfying. The little fox was holding a large piece of meat that weighed several hundred pounds. It was taking large bites and eating it with relish. Perhaps the meat it swallowed was 10 times the size of its body. I feel like this meat is too old. Is it old? Meng Yingying was holding a long iron skewer that had 5-6 fist-sized pieces of wing meat on it. Her cheeks were bulging as she chewed and said, "I think it's very tasty. It's much better than the level 1 demon beast meat in our restaurant." The little fox was very much in favor of this. Meng Yingying's biggest regret was not being able to see Chu Tian teach that stray young master a lesson. When Meng Yingying heard the news and rushed over, the conflict was already over. Chu Tian tied up the stray dog and was patrolling the streets. This was a famous person. Yi Tianlang had a resounding reputation in Zhongzhou. He was fierce and domineering, and he had never suffered a loss. Furthermore, he was the future heir of the Ye family. Cultivators of this level, a person of such status. Meng Yingying did not even dare to imagine the consequences of angering him. Everyone in the central state knew about the Ye family's conduct. The mercenary family had always been fierce and cruel. If there was a slight conflict, they would exterminate the whole family. As the heir of the family, Yi Tianlang naturally inherited the family style. However, this idiot was really blind. Was Chu Tian an ordinary person? How could he kill Chu Tian? Stand up like this. Serve him right. Meng Yingying felt that Chu Tian's method was too satisfying. Chu Tian did not kill Yi Tianlang, nor did he cripple Yi Tianlang. Instead, he ruthlessly stepped on him and humiliated him in the most brutal way possible. This was very satisfying. Even if Yi Tianlang could survive, he would never be able to shake off this shadow for the rest of his life. What made Meng Yingying admire the most was Chu Tian's frivolous straightforwardness, Chu Tian's unscrupulousness, and Chu Tian's crazed overbearingness. It had infected everyone in South Sky City. Would normal citizens dare to throw rotten eggs at Yi Tianlang? Would normal citizens dare to eat Yi Tianlang's mount? Even if they had 100 guts, they still wouldn't dare. But with Chu Tian's support, the situation was completely different. At this moment, Meng Yingying looked around and saw that everyone was drinking and chatting merrily. Everyone was raising their wine cups, celebrating the big event that had happened today. Actually, everyone had a grand and ambitious dream in their hearts. Who didn't want to ride the wind and break the waves? Who didn't want to gallop to the ends of the earth? Who was willing to live a mediocre life? These childish dreams, as they grew older, were gradually beaten back by reality. The things that they once worshipped, obsessed with, and yearned for seemed to have vanished into thin air. In reality, it was just hiding in the depths of their hearts, protected by a stubborn wall, no longer being attacked by the cruel reality. This was a fantasy paradise, an ideal kingdom. Magnificent, absurd, strange, but full of vitality. In the middle of the night, it would occasionally make people feel touched and sad. These things could never be erased. It was just that people were not willing to easily touch them. Did they lose the key to the door? Or did they lose the courage to enter? In short, Chu Tian's sudden appearance, South Sky City's people had witnessed his rise. It was a reflection of the people's most primal desire, the craziest cry. Even a small character could beat Yi Tianlang. Even the lowly could counterattack and rise. How many times could they experience this kind of scene in their lives? As long as one was hot-blooded, they would cheer for all of this. The F family would definitely come back. But no matter what kind of storm or thunder they would face tomorrow, tonight would be a joyous night of drinking and chatting to one's heart's content. It would not be in vain. Meng Yingying's bright eyes were like a calm lake, filled with a trace of a smile. Chu Tian had given her a pleasant surprise. He had given South Sky City a pleasant surprise. Meng Qingwu was not as relaxed. Although she already knew that Chu Tian was crazy, today's madness was a bit too much. This was clearly a humiliation to the Yef family. The Yef family would definitely counterattack like crazy. Did Chu Tian really have the ability to deal with this? Meng Qingwu wanted to find a way to mediate, but it was impossible. This time, no matter how much pressure the Nangong family put on, the Yef family would not swallow it. Otherwise, how could they survive in Central State? Young miss, please don't frown like a bitter melon. Chu Tian heartlessly walked over. Right now is the time to be happy. Meng Qingwu stared at him. Of course you're happy. Have you thought how to deal with Yi Wudao's anger? It was fine if he liked to cause trouble. Every time, he would cause a storm in the city. Who is Yi Wudao? Chu Tian was stunned. Then he waved his hand. Forget it. Who cares who he is? Yingying, come here. Meng Yingying ran over. Because she had eaten too much demon beast meat, her cheeks were red and her body was hot, but she was filled with energy. Chu Tian nodded. Being in this state was good for breaking through. Chu Tian pulled back the little fox that hadn't eaten enough. He took out 2 white jade pill bottles from his chest and gave one to Yingying and the young miss. Inside the translucent white jade bottle, there was a purple pill. Even through the jade bottle, Meng Qingwu could still feel the vigorous energy coming from the pill. This is the awakened soul pill. Chu Tian's playful expression gradually disappeared, and his expression became serious. I just found Xiong Tanyan and Zhang Liqing, and the 3 of us worked together to refine it. Each person only has 1 pill, and they only have 1 chance. Meng Qingwu's body trembled. How did he manage to refine it so quickly? Meng Yingying curiously said, Can this pill turn us into awakened soul cultivators? The awakened soul pill is the best pill to break through the bottleneck of the body refinement realm. My pill is made with a unique formula. As long as someone at the peak 9th body refinement layer takes it, they will have an 80% chance of breaking through. Chu Tian said to the 2 of them, but considering that you have just stepped into the peak 9th body refinement layer, I will refine a few more pills for you. This way the success rate will be above 90%. Such a high probability. It was really hard to imagine. If there were extra awakened soul pills, 1 pill could be sold for 5 to 8 million gold coins. This matter cannot be delayed. Let's start now. We must break through immediately. When the Yef family found out about what happened in South Sky City, they would definitely rush over like mad dogs. If Chu Tian could break through to the awakened soul realm, he would have more confidence. If the three of them had the strength of the awakened soul realm, even if they encountered the worst-case scenario, they would at least have the ability to protect themselves. So they had to break through before the Yef family arrived. The three of them went into closed-door cultivation. Before Chu Tian entered the room, he first placed the little fox at the door. He took out a corpse core for it and patted its head. This time's closed-door cultivation is very important. Don't let anyone disturb me. The little fox used its claw to make a no-problem gesture. It used its claw to draw a few symbols at the door. A small restriction array was formed. Little fellow, you actually have a bit of skill. The little fox revealed a disdainful expression and impatiently waved its claw. Hurry up, don't waste this fox's time. This fellow really deserved a beating. Chu Tian sat down cross-legged in the room and began to adjust himself to the best cultivation state, allowing his mind to enter a state of emptiness. The purple awakened soul pill was like a beautiful gem. There were patterns on the surface. A strong energy fluctuation was emitted from the awakened soul pill. He had finally arrived at this step. It had been 2 months, a bit long. But this small country was poor in resources, so this speed was not too slow. Chu Tian firmly believed that since he had once stood at the peak, he could return to the peak. He could even break through the limit and step into a more magnificent world. The awakened soul realm was a very amazing person in South Sky City. If the body refinement realm was the foundation stage, then the awakened soul realm was the beginning of cultivation. Only from the awakened soul realm could one be considered a true cultivator. This was just the beginning. The Yef family would soon return, and this time it would be a big one. Honestly speaking, whether or not he could block the Yef family's counterattack, Chu Tian did not have much confidence. Even if he took Yi Tianlang as a hostage, he could only do it alone. Chu Tian did not regret it. Even if he had to go back, Chu Tian would still stick to his choices. Beat Yi Feng, destroy the Han family, kill Yi Han, kill Yi Xiong, and beat Yi Tianlang. Wasn't it just a small Yef family? If you really have the ability, then come at me. Chu Tian swallowed the awakened soul pill and closed his eyes. His spirit energy suddenly surged out like a white flame, suddenly wrapping around his body. A faint pressure came from the top of his head, as if it wanted to pierce through the clouds. The night sky of South Sky City was covered by an ancient and powerful aura. This was like a great demon god from ancient times. He had slept for too long, and it was time for him to wake up. Chapter 105. Black clouds hung low, lightning flashed, and thunder roared. The world was filled with a strong gale, and the atmosphere was filled with killing intent. A long black line appeared in the endless wilderness. A boundless killing intent covered the sky, even covering the storm and thunder in the sky. All of them were storm wolf mounts. All of them were profound iron armors. All of them were swords and spears. All of them were iron-blooded warriors. This was a terrifying iron-blooded army that was not inferior to the Central State's most elite army. The wolf flag fluttered and the forest of spears was cold. This represented the strongest mercenary force in Central State. A giant green wolf that seemed to be carved out of jade was charging at the forefront of the group, and a man sat on it. His eyes were like lightning, and his face was gloomy. There was a huge scar across his left eye on his face, causing his face to look even more sinister. His gaze was sharp and icy cold like a blade, and his entire body was filled with a terrifying pressure that could suffocate others. Sir Family Head, in front of us is South Sky City. Please give the order. We will directly attack the city. 2 powerful mercenary leaders stood on the left and right. Tianlang is still in their hands, and you want me to attack the city? Are you looking to die? The 2 mercenary leaders quickly pushed him away. This subordinate doesn't dare. This middle-aged man with a knife scar was not someone else. He was the current head of the Yef family, the ruler of the Yef family mercenary group. Yi Wu Dao? This person looked like he was 40 or 50 years old, but he was actually almost 60 years old. At the age of 30, he had become the head of the Yef family and had led the Yef family mercenary group for over 20 years. He had single-handedly pushed the Yef family to the throne of Central State's four great families. Leif Daudenier had been extremely domineering when he was young, and he was extremely cruel and merciless. He would slaughter an entire clan for the slightest conflict, not even sparing infants. Anyone who made him hold a grudge never had a good ending. For over 10 years, Yi Wudao's reputation spread far and wide, his influence growing day by day. Adding on the vicious reputation he had accumulated in his early years, there was no one in Central Continent City that dared to provoke him. Yi Wudao also rarely appeared in people's eyes, but his cruel wolf nature was spread to the entire family. From the upper echelons to the servants and housekeepers, everyone in the Yef family was arrogant and domineering. Their personalities were tyrannical and cruel. The Yef family even openly supported internal strife, let the wolf nature penetrate deep into the bone marrow. If he wasn't ruthless enough, he wouldn't be able to survive in the Yef family. Because of this, the Yef family's mercenaries were extremely powerful, and the Yef family's businesses were filled with aggressiveness. In order to achieve their goals, they would do anything, no matter the cost. In just a short span of 10 years, the entire family's power and wealth had expanded by several times, and they had even attracted countless followers. The wolf was the totem. The entire clan was a wolf. The Yef family became the most wolf-like and aggressive family in the Central Plains. For so many years, there had been no power that dared to openly challenge the Yef family. Who would have thought that in a small place like Tiannan City, a Chu Tian would suddenly appear? Even more unexpected, the son that Yi Wudao was so proud of was actually captured by a nobody. When Yi Wudao found out that his son, Yi Tianlang, had been captured, he was so angry that he killed more than 10 of his personal attendants on the spot and directly led the Yef family's most elite troops, majestically charging towards Tiannan City. The gates of Tiannan City were tightly shut. On top of the tall city walls, thousands of archers spread out. The arrowheads were like a dense forest, shining with a cold light, as if they could cover the sky and cover the earth at any time. A burly man wearing a white general's armor stood on the command platform, holding a thick iron spear in his hand. Facing the mighty Yef family mercenaries, he loudly shouted, "I am Tiannan City's General Xiangbing. Yi Wudao, you brought your private army to surround the city, threatening the millions of citizens of Tiannan City and despising the kingdom's laws. Do you know the punishment?" Yi Wudao's gaze swept across the city walls and finally fell on a young man who was tied up. Wasn't this his son, Yi Tianlang? Yi Tianlang was arrogant for a moment. In front of tens of thousands of mercenaries, he was tied to a big flag in a humiliating manner. This was simply a ruthless slap in the face of Yi Wudao, a ruthless slap in the face of the Yef family mercenaries. If it was an ordinary Yef family member, then it would be fine, but Yi Tianlang was Yi Wudao's son, the heir of the Yef family. Yi Wudao ignored Xiangbing and raised his hands high, attack formation. The wolf cavalry neatly spread out, forming several falling formations, and at the same time raised their weapons high up. The war wolves seemed to feel their master's killing intent, and all of them looked up to the sky and howled. These wolves were all demon beasts. One or two was nothing, but now there were tens of thousands of them howling towards the sky, and the sound was like waves crashing against the city walls. The hands of the Tiannan City soldiers holding onto their bows couldn't help but tremble, and some of the weak-willed ones even peed their pants on the spot. Prepare to charge. Kill, kill, kill. Those who humiliate my Yef family. Die. Tens of thousands of wolves howled together. Tens of thousands of riders brandished their spears. Murderous intent soared to the sky. Xiangbing's face became very ugly. "Mayor, the situation is not good. That madman Yi Wudao might really attack the city. Has Chu Tian not come out yet? He went into closed-door training the night before yesterday, and he still hasn't come out." Nan Gong, he was standing behind Xiangbing, and his face was also gloomy. This brat made a mess himself, and now he wants us to clean up his mess. This is too much. Nangonghai was gloating on the side. This time they had angered Yi Wudao. Let's see how they deal with this. Yi Wudao's personality was cruel and heartless, and in his anger, he could definitely attack the city. How could the Tiannan city's army stop the Ye family's elites? At that time, not to mention Chu Tian, perhaps even a massacre would start in Tiannan city. In this matter, Nangong, he could not shirk his responsibility and would inevitably be held accountable. Yi Wudao rode forward alone and coldly looked at the city walls. Nangong immediately released Tianlang. I only want the lives of Chu Tian's group. Nangong revealed an awkward expression. Yi Wudao's strength was at the 5th awakened soul layer, and Nangong Yi's 4th awakened soul layer would be hard to deal with. Not to mention, Yi Wudao had brought many experts with him. In the wolf cavalry, there were at least 40 to 50 awakened soul experts. This was more than all the awakened soul experts in Tiannan City combined. Nangong, you could only give in. I'll release Yi Tianlang, and you'll release Chu Tian. You need to understand your situation. You don't have the qualifications to bargain with me. Yi Wudao's voice was as sharp as a blade, and he raised his right hand high up and loudly ordered, Wolf Fong mercenaries, prepare to attack the city. The mercenaries all released their spirit energy. In an instant, their aura increased by several times. Nangong Yi's expression changed. This fellow was too overbearing. Without a single word, he wanted to attack the city. People of Tiannan City, listen up. The Wolf Fong mercenaries will attack the city in 10 seconds. He purposely used his spirit energy to spread his voice throughout the city. I'll give you 10 seconds to do as you please. For every second that passes, when the city is breached, kill 100,000 people. 10, 9, 8. Like a terrifying death knell, it rang in everyone's hearts. Yi Wudao's voice spread throughout the entire Tiannan city. This time, everyone was almost paralyzed with fear. Kill 100,000 people for every second that passes? If he counted it in 10 seconds, wouldn't he have to kill 1 million people? Although in this world, the weak were like grass, killing half a city at once. With such a large number, wasn't he afraid of arousing public anger in southern Xia? People still underestimated the cruelty of the Ye family. People still underestimated how terrifying Yi Wudao was. Nangong Yi's face became very ugly. Yi Wudao, you want to massacre the city? You're crazy. Yi Wudao sneered without saying a word and started counting down. 6, 5. The soldiers on the city wall all put down their weapons in fear. We surrender. Don't kill me. Seeing this, Xiangbing felt very helpless. He clenched his teeth. Mayor, there's no other way. We can't do anything about it. Let's just let them go. Damn, why hasn't Chu Tian arrived yet? Nangong, he clenched his fists and clenched his teeth as he said, No. Yi Tianlang is in our hands. He might have some misgivings. If we give them up, with Yi Wudao's personality, Tiannan City will not be spared. Yi Wudao's voice became more and more fierce, like a demon beast roaring. 4, 3, 2, 1. The countdown ended. Maybe it's because I haven't appeared in a long time that people have forgotten my methods. Yi Wudao revealed a cruel gaze and pulled out a long blade from his waist. Pointing it high into the sky, he loudly roared, Then I'll show you. Our Wolfang mercenaries are powerful. Break through the city. Kill. The wolf cavalry soldiers immediately erupted, like a large field of beans being scattered, or like a blue wave. The wolf cavalry soldiers collectively charged forward. Yi Wudao's face was fierce. I want everyone to know that the consequence of offending the Ye family is to pay the price in blood. Not good. Xiangbing and Nangong Yi's faces changed when the wolf cavalry soldiers were about to break through the city walls. Suddenly, a strong fluctuation came from somewhere in Tiannan City. This was an ancient and mysterious power, like a demon god that had been sleeping for billions of years, suddenly awakened. At this moment, the sky changed color, all the gods retreated, and all the living beings trembled. Woo woo woo. The originally aggressive wargs suddenly seemed to have sensed something. They stopped moving forward at the same time and began to tremble. Their mouths emitted waves of fearful whimpers. What's going on? Kill. Quickly kill them for me. Yi Wu Dao angrily urged the wolf mounts. However, even his mounts were the same. That mysterious and unknown ancient consciousness made these demon beasts unable to resist. The mounts of the Wolf Fong mercenaries had all undergone strict training. Even if they met a demon beast that was several levels higher than them, they would not be so scared that they could not move. What was going on? Boom, boom. Above the blue dome of heaven, countless crimson lightning streaked across the void, and black clouds gathered in Tianan City. It was like the end of the world. A huge figure was suddenly projected into the endless void. The moment everyone saw the figure, their minds went blank, as if they had been petrified. What kind of existence was this? It was a primordial demon god with 9 eyes. While everyone was lost in thought, the 9 eyes opened and swept across the wolf cavalry soldiers outside the city. Then the huge figure disappeared. Ayo, ayo, ayo. Thousands of wolf mounts howled as if they had gone mad. They jumped around and ran away in panic. The mercenaries could not control their mounts, and they all fell to the ground. The whole scene was a mess. In just a few minutes, the entire wolf cavalry army was in a state of disunity. The wolves had all escaped. Yi Wu Dao flew into a rage. What did you do? Nangong, Yi, and Xiongbing looked at each other, unable to explain what had happened. That terrifying demon god had only appeared for 2 to 3 seconds, but it had destroyed the entire wolf cavalry army. Ha ha ha! I'm quite punctual this time. A laugh came from behind. When the two looked over, they saw Chu Tian and Meng Qingwu walking over slowly. Behind them were Zhang Liqing and Xiong Tianyan. Nangong, he did not know why, but when he saw Chu Tian, he let out a sigh of relief. You're finally here? You've already broken through. Chu Tian's temperament had undergone a big change. His whole person became more mysterious and profound. There was no doubt he had broken through. Now, Chu Tian had surpassed the body refinement realm and was an awakened soul cultivator. Not only Chu Tian, even Meng Yingying and Meng Qingwu had broken through to the awakened soul realm. This speed was too shocking. Also, what was with the heaven and earth phenomenon? Was it caused by Chu Tian's breakthrough? Chapter 106. The process of body refinement is to open up the meridians of the body, allowing spiritual energy to enter the body and refine it into spirit energy. This is the most basic stage of foundation building, and the awakened soul realm is the first step of cultivation. When a cultivator reaches the peak of the 9th body refinement layer, they can give birth to a source spirit. The new source spirit is in a dormant state until they step into the awakened soul realm. Then the source spirit will truly awaken. The moment the source spirit awakens, although it wasn't as earth-shattering as when it was first born, it still created a phenomenon. The demon god opened his eyes. The world changed. In this short moment, a terrifying pressure was released. That terrifying pressure instantly rushed out of the city, causing the wolves to panic and collapse. The wolf riders that the Ye family was so proud of were actually unable to withstand a single blow. Chu Tian, Yi Wu Dao, was so angry that he almost went crazy. Chu Tian looked at the scattered Ye family mercenaries and laughed. Ha ha ha! How strong are the Ye family mercenaries? They're just a motley crew, collapsing before the battle even starts. As the head of the Ye family, not only did you give birth to a trash son, you also brought a group of weak subordinates. It's really been hard on you. Chu Tian, you're going too far. Going too far. Chu Tian coldly snorted and loudly shouted. Yi Xiong has occupied Tianan City for 10 years, domineering and cruel, killing countless people. Why don't you think he's going too far? The Ye family's trash son overestimated himself, single-handedly causing trouble in Tianan City. Why don't you think he's going too far? You old dog, for your son, didn't hesitate to attack the city, taking your anger out on the common people. Why don't you think he's going too far? Everything was done by Father Chu Tian. If you have the ability, then come at me. What kind of ability is venting your anger on others? This is a sign of incompetence. Chu Tian walked to Yi Tianlong's side and casually hooked his finger. Xiong Tianyin poured a bucket of water on him, instantly waking Yi Tianlang up. Yi Tianlang looked around in fear. Father, save me. Yi Wudao clenched his fists and roared. Good. I'll give you one more chance. Release Tianlang immediately. I'll take your life today. Unrelated people will not be implicated. Otherwise, the Wolfsfang mercenaries will definitely start a massacre. Ha ha. It's not up to you. Chu Tian took out a long whip and said, You Ye family people don't have a good upbringing. Your son is so unbearable. Since that's the case, I'll teach your son a lesson for you. Yi Wudao glared at him and roared. How dare you? Chu Tian shouted. Lao Xiong, take off his pants. Yi Tianlang roared in shame and anger. No, no. Without any explanation, Xiong Tianyin took off Yi Tianlong's pants and exposed his bare, but to the thousands of Wolfang mercenaries outside the city walls. Pa! Chu Tian lashed out with all his might. That white, but was immediately beaten until it was lacerated. I'll let you be arrogant. I'll let you be domineering. I'll let you slaughter the city. Chu Tian continued to wave his whip and slapped Yi Tianlong's, but several times, turning it into a bloody mess. Crazy. This brat was crazy. The infamous Wolf's Fang mercenaries. The infamous Prince Tianlang. This scene made the Ye family people go crazy. How was this hitting Yi Tianlong's butt? This was simply slapping the Ye family's face. Attack the city. Immediately attack the city. Yi Wudao lost all reason as he roared. Don't leave a single one alive. Kill them all. You can try. Chu Tian gave a cold laugh as he pulled out the netherworld sword from his back and pointed it at Yi Tianlong's neck. Whoever dares take a step forward, Father will cut off their dog head. You dare. I don't dare. Now that it's like this, I don't think there's anything I don't dare to do. Yi Wudao's blood surged, and he almost spat out a mouthful of blood. Chu Tian laughed and said, Anyways, when the city falls, I will die without a doubt. Since it's like this, what do I have to be afraid of? Yi Wudao, if you dare play with me, then I'll play with you until you're satisfied. Father isn't afraid of death. While Chu Tian was speaking, he raised his long sword high up. Yi Wudao angrily roared out, Stop! A sword glow fell down. Yi Tianlang gave a pitiful cry. My hand! My hand! A severed arm was thrown out of the city. Yi Wudao quickly caught his son's severed arm. He saw the severed arm continue to bleed, and he quickly poured spirit energy into it, trying to keep it alive. One was a cultivator, and one was a martial artist. If he lost an arm, what kind of loss would that be? Yi Tianlang could not take this kind of loss. Yi Wudao could not take this kind of loss, and the entire Ye family could not take this kind of loss. Chu Tian pointed the netherworld sword at Yi Tianlang and said, I'll only give you 5 seconds. Immediately retreat. Yi Tianlang roared out, Impossible. Every second I count, I'll cut off one of his arms. After I cut off all his limbs, I'll cripple his cultivation and cripple his life. Yi Wudao, you only have this one son. If you don't want to die without descendants, then have your dog scram out of South Sky City. 5, 4. Yi Tianlang gave a pitiful cry as another arm was cut off. It was thrown off the city walls. Violent, bloody, ruthless. This was truly a madman. Yi Wudao's heart turned cold. After all these years, this was the first time Yi Wudao had met someone crazier than him. Chu Tian would really kill Yi Tianlang. He wasn't afraid at all. Retreat. Everyone retreat. Yi Wudao's sorrowful and angry roar was like a wild beast's roar. The Ye family mercenaries revealed unwilling expressions, but there was no other way. The young master was in their hands, and the other side was a ruthless person who did not care about his life. The Ye family mercenaries quickly retreated 1,000 meters away, leaving only Yi Wudao. Chu Tian laughed. That's more like it. Yi Wu Dao took a deep breath and gradually calmed down. His eyes were like a wolf's. Chu Tian, I admit that I've underestimated you. But do you think that just because you've captured my son, you've already won? Your actions have caused the entire city to suffer. Don't you feel guilty? This Yi Wu Dao was trying to use psychological tactics because he could already see that Chu Tian was a person with strong principles. He would bear the consequences of his actions alone and would never be willing to implicate others. Yi Wu Dao said coldly, "It's useless even if you kill my son. My Yef family has thousands of children. How many can you kill? But if you kill my son, I'll immediately start a massacre in the city. Not even the chickens and dogs will be spared. At worst, the Yef family will just move to southern Xia." Chu Tian, you've really thought this through. Do you want the entire city to die with you? Nangong, Yi, Xiongbing, and the rest were sweating profusely. Both of them were extremists. Now it had come to this. They really didn't know how to end this. Chu Tian wouldn't let Yi Tianling go, and Yi Wu Dao wouldn't return without any results. No matter what the outcome was today, it would end in a life and death struggle. Yi Wu Dao said coldly, "Let him go immediately. I'll only kill you, and this is the last resort. If you continue to threaten me, even if I don't want this son, I'll still massacre the entire city." If Yi Wu Dao really didn't care about his son, he would probably give the order to massacre the entire city. Now that he hadn't given the order, it was impossible for him to massacre the entire city. Because based on what Chu Tian knew, Yi Tianlang was Yi Wu Dao's only son. Compared to the millions of people in the city, Yi Tianlang was more important to Yi Wu Dao. Massacre the entire city? If the Yef family really did something like massacring the entire city, there would be no place in the country to stand. That would be equivalent to giving up on decades of foundation, and they would have to leave southern Xia forever to wander somewhere else. This was the result of both sides suffering heavy losses. Yi Wu Dao had been in charge of the Yef family for many years. He wouldn't do this kind of thing. Chu Tian slowly raised the netherworld sword, and the blade was covered in a cold blue glow. He slowly said, "Then let's give it a try." After saying this, Chu Tian's sword slashed at Yi Tianlong's neck. That sharp blade was getting closer and closer to Yi Tianlong's neck. Yi Wu Dao gritted his teeth, but his pupils quickly shrank. No, he definitely couldn't. Yi Tianlang had been raised by the Yef family with all their resources. He definitely couldn't die now. Otherwise, the entire Yef family would be broken and they would go downhill. Forget it. He couldn't care less about his face. Even if he couldn't kill Chu Tian today, he had to save Yi Tianlang. Chu Tian's lips curled into a cold smile. He knew that Yi Tianlang would definitely stop him. So at that time, the initiative would be in Chu Tian's hands. He could ask for any conditions, and even if he asked for a sky-high price, Yi Wu Dao would have no choice but to agree. But at this time, the sky was suddenly filled with wind and clouds. "Stay your sword." An incomparably terrifying aura came from the clouds, instantly locking onto Chu Tian. Chu Tian suddenly felt a mountain-like pressure, and his hands holding the sword couldn't help slowing down. Nangong Yi's expression changed. Such a terrifying aura? Just what kind of god is this? In the air, there was a figure floating in the air, both feet stepping on a tornado. He wore a simple green robe and had a head full of grayish-white hair, giving him a unique and elegant style. From his appearance, he looked to be in his 30s or 40s at most, but his actual age was definitely much older. Elegant, out of this world. It was as if a celestial had descended. Everyone couldn't help but tremble at the powerful aura. Shin Fengho? It's actually Shun Fengho. Above and below the city wall, all the military officers and even the Yef family mercenaries, when they saw this man, simultaneously knelt on one knee and shouted respectfully, "Greetings, Shun Fengho." Nangong Yi and Yi Wu Dao had no choice but to bow. Shin Fengho stepped on the tornado and slowly descended vertically. He looked at Chu Tian indifferently, and finally at Yi Wu Dao, who was below the city wall. Yi Wu Dao, sending troops to attack the city. How impressive. Although his voice was soft, it caused the clouds to move. It contained the pressure of heaven and earth. Cold sweat appeared on Yi Wudao's forehead. Even for someone like him, his hands couldn't help but tremble. This one was impulsive. Please punish me, Shun Fengho. Shen Fengho said indifferently. You were also anxious to save your son. I'll let it go this time. Shen Fengho sized up Chu Tian, a trace of admiration flashing in his eyes. For someone to be able to face his pressure without any change in expression, he really wasn't simple. This person was indeed as young as he had imagined. The divine Wind Marquis revealed a faint smile. Good courage. Another amazing person has appeared in Zhongzhou. The word fear didn't exist in Chu Tian's dictionary. At this time, Chu Tian couldn't tell if he was a friend or a foe, so he frowned and asked, Who are you? Nangong, Yi, and Meng Qingwu all tensed up. Newborn calves are not afraid of tigers. There was no one in Zhongzhou that dared to speak like this in front of Shun Fengho. This marquis is Feng Yuntian. Shun Fengho said. Feng Yuntian didn't seem to have any arrogance. What's your name? Everyone's jaws dropped in shock. The mighty Shan Fengho had actually announced his name to a youth. Chu Tian replied, Chu Tian. Good, Chu Tian. I'll remember you. Feng Yuntian looked at Yi Tianlang and said, Today's matter ends here. Why don't you both give me some face and reconcile? Chu Tian asked, How do we reconcile? We'll write it off. Feng Yuntian said, You let Yi Tianlang go, and I won't allow the Ye family, Chu family, and Luo family to take half a step into South Sky City. Are you satisfied with this result? Chu Tian didn't believe it. They'll obediently listen to you? Feng Yuntian gave a confident smile and said, They'll at least give me some face. Yi Wudao, what do you say? Hate to the point of madness. Yi Wudao braced himself and said, Shen Fengho has personally come forward to mediate, so I won't pursue this matter any further as long as they release Tianlang. Chu Tian thought for a few seconds. Chu Tian didn't know what kind of person Shen Fengho was, but this person's cultivation was unfathomable. Even Nangong Yi, who was born in the Nangong family, had to bow to him. This was enough to show that his identity wasn't simple. With this kind of person coming forward to vouch for him, he could only comply. Good, I'll release him. As soon as he finished, a small tornado appeared in Feng Yuntian's right hand, instantly lifting Yi Tianlang up and sending him to Yi Wudao's side. Too fast. Chu Tian was secretly shocked. This Feng Yuntian was very strong. He could actually directly save Yi Tianlang from Chu Tian's hands. The reason why he would mediate was actually to help him. But why? This matter ends here. I hope you'll take care of yourselves. Feng Yuntian's figure flashed, instantly disappearing into the blue dome of heaven. He suddenly appeared, then suddenly disappeared, as if he had never been there. Chu Tian, you could spend the rest of your life in Tianan City. Yi Wudao reattached his severed arm to his son, then hatefully looked at Chu Tian on the city wall and loudly roared, Return to Central State. The Wolfang mercenaries were like a tide, quickly retreating from Tianan City. This earth-shattering conflict had finally come to a complete end. Chapter 107. With Yi Wudao's defeat, the soul-shaking crisis was over. As for Nangong, Yi, who had broken through to the fourth awakened soul layer, he had now been promoted to an official elder of the Nangong family. Chu Tian, Meng Yingying, and Meng Qingwu, with Nangong Yi's guarantee, had become a guest official of the Nangong family. From now on, they would have the halo of the Nangong family and would enjoy the protection of the Nangong family, ensuring their safety to a certain degree. Nangong Yi felt that Chu Tian was too lucky, within the Central State territory, to dare insult Yi Wudao like this and come out unscathed. This brat is the first. Chu Tian was actually a bit hesitant in his heart. Yi Wudao must hate me to the bone. How do you know he won't make a comeback? This person has the strength of a 5th to 6th awakened soul layer cultivator. If he wants to take revenge on me, just being a guest official of the Nangong family is not enough. Chu Tian wanted the guest official status mainly because he killed Yi Xiong. Yi Xiong was a normal elder, or rather a normal elder with a good performance. Killing him would anger the Ye family. But was it worth offending the prestige of the Nangong family to take revenge? The Ye family had to carefully consider this. This time, the situation was completely different. Chu Tian and the Ye family would not rest until one of them was dead. Chu Tian had captured Prince Tianlang alive and ruthlessly humiliated him, making Yi Wudao lose all his face. With his wild and overbearing personality, could he really swallow this? Nangong Yi confidently said, with Shun Fengho personally mediating, no matter how much Yi Wudao hates you, he won't dare publicly deal with you. You can be assured of this. What is Shun Fengho's background? You're from a central province. How could you not know about Shun Fengho? When Nangong Yi mentioned Shun Fengho, his eyes were filled with admiration. Shun Fengho, Feng Yintian, is a famous hero of southern Xia. He was famous for his military exploits in the past, and was later bestowed the title of Shun Fengho, becoming one of the 8 marquises of Southern Summer. The Southern Summer country has 8 marquises? You should understand what this means. Nangong Yi glanced at Chu Tian and said, Southern Xia has a total of 8 prefectures and counties, which can be divided into 8 marquises. Each marquis will oversee a prefecture or county. The place where Shin Fengho and Feng Yuntian were in theft is precisely Zhongzhou County. Chu Tian was shocked. The entire central province is under his control. That's not it. Shin Fengho has a simple personality and does not like to fight for power. Therefore, he gives his power to others and lives a leisurely life. However, just based on Shun Fengho's reputation, the large and small families of Central State will not dare disobey him. The 8 marquises of Southern Summer. Shin Fengho was one of them. Even if Feng Yintian was placed in the entirety of Southern Xia, he was still a first-class character. Chu Tian had made this matter too big, even bringing out Shun Fengho. It was no wonder when Shun Fengho opened his mouth, Yi Wudao immediately withdrew his troops, not daring to bring up the matter of revenge at all. This was because strength was absolute. Shun Fengho's cultivation was #1 in Central State City. Not giving face to Shin Fengho? Wasn't this seeking death? Shun Fengho's whereabouts were usually mysterious. Not many people were lucky enough to see Shun Fengho's true face. He had almost become a legend in Central State City. This time, he personally went out to mediate the conflict. How could people not have wild and fanciful thoughts? Yi Wudao had promised to write it off, so he definitely did not dare to risk offending Shin Fengho. If he acted rashly again, the Chu family and the Luo family would also become especially cautious. Since he had Shun Fengho's care and had become a guest official of the Nangong family, what was there to worry about? At the very least, in a short period of time, these families would not make a move again. Chu Tian's reputation would go up another level because of this. The scene of Chu Tian holding Prince Tianlang in front of countless Ye family mercenaries, ruthless and tyrannical, was deeply imprinted in people's hearts. Rather provoke the king of hell. Do not provoke Chu Tian. When Chu Tian returned to his residence, the messengers from the big and small families of Tiannan City were walking around in an endless stream. The Du family has sent a congratulatory gift. The Li family has sent a congratulatory gift. The Black Horse Commerce has sent a gift. The Fierce Tiger Mercenary Group has sent a gift. All kinds of gifts, like snowflakes floating in the air. The Meng Qingwu sisters were extremely busy. Miracle commerce from nothing. In less than a month, it had now become a large force, and even became the pillar of Tiannan City. When the Meng Qingwu saw the mountain of gifts, she once again felt like she was in a dream. More than a month ago, Nanyan commerce was isolated and helpless, without any background, unable to find any backing. They were trembling with fear and cautious, afraid of offending any company. In more than a month, the 2 sisters had completed a magnificent transformation, becoming awakened soul cultivators respected by tens of thousands. One by one, the targets that Nanyan Commerce had tried their best to curry favor with now not only came to send gifts, they bowed and bowed, their faces full of respect, simply wishing they could kneel down to the two sisters. The two sisters had depended on each other for many years. When had they ever received this kind of honor and respect? Miracle commerce had become strong. Nanyan commerce had become strong. Meng Qingwu and Meng Yingying had both become strong. No one in Tian City dared to look down on the two sisters anymore. When Chu Tian returned home, he repeated Nan Gongyi's words. Meng Qingwu did not find it strange at all, because Meng Qingwu already knew of Shun Fengho's existence. He was a godlike existence. No one in Central State dared to go against his will, even if it was a wolf-like person like Yi Wudao. Meng Qingwu was finally relieved and began to prepare for the expansion of the company. We have 50,000 lamps, of which 80% are normal lamps. The rest are large lamps, portable lamps, etc. Now that the time is ripe, I think it's time to introduce light bulbs to the citizens of Tiannan City. Tiannan City had prepared for a long time. The lamp factory was becoming more complete. Miracle Commerce had the initial production capacity. It could start selling. These business matters, Chu Tian did not like to care. He only thought about the Tianshan Chamber of Commerce's nether flame grass. As long as the nether flame grass was delivered, Chu Tian would be able to practice the netherworld flame sword. Money was just a worldly possession. It could be earned at any time. Strength was the foundation of one's life. Chu Tian could not lower his guard just because there was Shun Fengho's mediation. Even if Yi Wudao did not dare to do it openly, wouldn't he use other methods to plot against him? The electric lamp's profits are very large, and the market is also very large. Not only will it cover cultivators, it will also benefit the general public. Not only will it bring us a large amount of income, it will also help Miracle Commerce establish a good reputation. Chu Tian said this, and then suddenly paused. I'll teach you the source energy battery manufacturing technology. As for the distribution and promotion of the electric lamps, you'll be in charge of it. The source energy battery technology had always been kept a secret. Although Miracle Commerce had secretly mined crystal oil, it had not publicly promoted the source energy battery. Meng Qingwu had the heavenly book source spirit, so her learning speed was very fast. With Chu Tian's explanation, Meng Qingwu had already memorized the level 1 battery manufacturing technology. Meng Qingwu proudly said, "Relax, I'll strictly guard the battery manufacturing technology." Chairman, a guard quickly ran in. There are two people outside. They claim to be from the Tianshan Chamber of Commerce. Chu Tian's heart filled with joy. After waiting for the stars and the moon, it had finally come. Chu Tian quickly went out to meet the other side. Who would have thought that when he saw these people, Chu Tian would be stunned? The two people's faces were covered in blood, their bodies were injured in 4 or 5 places, and their armors were in tatters. One of them, Chu Tian recognized. Wasn't it Jinghu? Chu Tian quickly asked, "What happened to you guys?" After Jinghu entered the city, he had already heard of Chu Tian's deeds. It wasn't until this moment that he realized how terrifying Chu Tian was. Put on. Jing, who directly kneeled on the ground and moved in front of Chu Tian. With a crying face, he said, "President Chu, please spare us. We were escorting the goods out of Central State, but we met a group of bandits on the way, and they stole the goods." What? Chu Tian's mouth went crooked from his anger. "You lost the goods? Didn't I tell you to secretly rhyme?" Jinghu repeatedly apologized. "We definitely didn't leak any information. No one knew that the goods were delivered to Miracle Commerce. Those bandits were just a coincidence. It was purely an accident. Do you think I'm stupid? A few bandits ran out. How could they steal Tianshan Chamber of Commerce's goods? This couldn't be blamed on Chu Tian. No one would believe it. Jing, who personally escorted the goods, and Jing, who was an awakened soul cultivator. No matter where an awakened soul cultivator went, they would always be an aloof existence. That was good. A few bandits that jumped out from who knows where actually managed to beat Tianshan Chamber of Commerce into a sorry state. If these bandits were this strong, then Central State would have already fallen into chaos. Chu Tian, don't be anxious. First, clearly explain what happened. Meng Qingwu saw that Jing, who didn't seem like he was lying. She was also very anxious about losing the goods because in this batch of goods, not only was there the nether flame grass that Chu Tian needed, there were also materials that Miracle Commerce needed, like the 3 lives demonic insect for refining the Qi refining pill. If the goods were lost, it would be a big loss. Jing, who carefully described what happened. When the Tianshan Chamber of Commerce's caravan didn't arrive, when they passed by a small city called Yellowstone City, they suddenly met several fierce bandits that wanted to steal the goods without any explanation. Jing, who resisted and began to fight with them. Who would have thought that the other side's strength would far surpass his imagination? The leader of the bandits was very strong, at least at the peak second awakened soul layer. Moreover, he cultivated an unknown evil cultivation technique that was incomparably strong. I couldn't beat him, so I abandoned the goods and ran for my life. I came to South Sky City to report. Were the bandits really this strong? Since they were this strong, why were they still bandits? Chu Tian paid special attention to a key piece of information. You said they cultivated an evil cultivation technique? What kind of evil cultivation technique is it? Jing, who revealed an expression of fear. I don't know what kind of evil cultivation technique it is. I've never seen it before. I don't think it's a cultivation technique from Central State, but it's very strong. The origins of these bandits were not simple. Because there were too few clues, Chu Tian didn't know if these people were related to the families in Central State. Meng Qingwu asked Chu Tian, what do you think? Chu Tian shook his head. It's hard to say. I'll personally go take a look. Meng Qingwu was a little worried as she said, isn't it too dangerous to leave South Sky City now? What if this is Yi Wudao's trap? The possibility isn't high. The time doesn't match. But your current identity is very sensitive. Relax, I'll leave the Yin corpse in the city. I'll use the old method to travel. This way no one will recognize me. This batch of goods was more important to Chu Tian than Meng Qingwu had imagined. Chu Tian needed to disguise himself and investigate. Chapter 108. Yellowstone City was an ordinary city under the jurisdiction of the Central State main city, but it was surrounded by barren mountains, inconvenient transportation, and lacking resources. Yellowstone City was very poor compared to South Sky City. There were few families, few merchants, few people, and few cultivators. This was his first impression of Yellowstone City. After Chu Tian arrived at Yellowstone City, he could not understand. This kind of poor and isolated city, how could there be so many tyrannical bandits? Chu Tian was dressed like a traveler. He wore a plain gray robe and a tattered bamboo hat. He carried an ancient sword in an ordinary wooden scabbard on his back. Once again, he had changed his appearance and appeared as Lu Ren. Chu Tian made some changes to his appearance, adding some stubble and making his skin a rough and dark yellow, making him look a bit older, like a wandering 24-25-year-old youth. Where should I start investigating? At this time, the little white fox stuck its furry head out of his clothes. Its sparkling eyes swept around, and it pointed its little paw in a certain direction. A few soldiers pasted a large official document on the dilapidated public notice wall. Many citizens had already gathered around out of curiosity. An officer loudly announced, "Latest news! Latest news! The mayor's palace has issued a red-level high-danger mission, urgently looking for awakened soul realm experts. The reward is 300,000 gold coins." The officer opened his mouth. The citizens all cried out in surprise. A 300,000 gold coin mission? Not to mention Yellowstone City's economy was not developed. Even in South Sky City, 300,000 gold coins was not a small amount. Yellowstone City's mayor's palace was this generous. This mission was definitely not a small matter. A group of bandits appeared in the Blackwind stronghold. Recently, they have been robbing large caravans. Several elite scouts were sent out, but none of them came back alive. The mayor finally couldn't hold back and began to recruit awakened soul realm experts. Isn't this too extravagant? How could it not be? That group of bandits plundered an astonishing amount of resources. As long as the mayor can take down the Blackwind stronghold, he will be rich. Weapons, cultivation techniques, wealth, everything. Yellowstone City is small and poor. There aren't many awakened soul realm cultivators who would be willing to participate in this kind of mission. Not necessarily. There will be brave people with great rewards. The citizens were still discussing in front of the official document. Chu Tian directly went to the mayor's palace and signed up for the mission as an awakened soul realm rogue cultivator. The city lord of Yellowstone City, Yin Weiyang, was an old man who looked to be in his 50s, but his actual age was said to be in his 60s or 70s. His body was stooped, his hair was gray, and he held a long staff in his hand. He was sitting in a cold and quiet hall covered in dust. He was old, ugly, and short. They were both city lords, but Yellowstone City obviously couldn't do it. Yin Weiyang coughed twice and interrupted Chu Tian with a hoarse voice. "What's your name?" Chu Tian cupped his fists and said, "I'm called Lu Run, a rogue cultivator at the first awakened soul layer. I've come to participate in Sir Mayor's bandit suppression operation." Yin Weiyang narrowed his eyes as he stared at Chu Tian. He wanted to see through Chu Tian. Awakened soul realm rogue cultivators are all famous. Why haven't I heard of you before? Chu Tian replied, "There are several dozen cities under the jurisdiction of Central State. It's impossible for the mayor to know all of them. I'm not famous. It's normal for the mayor to not have heard of me." Yin Weiyang coldly said, "This excuse won't convince this mayor. This mission is very important. If you don't have a clear background, how could I let you participate? Who knows if you're a spy sent by the Black Wind Stronghold? I've been cultivating in the mountains since I was a child. I rarely come out to the secular world. I've only recently awakened my soul, so I came out to gain experience." Chu Tian pulled out a document token. "I've been a guest of the mayor's palace in South Sky City for a period of time. This is the mayor's palace's seal as proof." This identity was forged by Nangong, E for Chu Tian. Yin Weiyang looked over it a few times, and his face relaxed a bit. "You've been Mayor Nangong's guest. What is your relationship with Mayor Nangong?" "When I was Mayor Nangong's guest, I was only at the 9th body refinement layer, so I didn't receive much attention, so I've never talked to Mayor Nangong." "Who is your master? Do you have any friends or relatives?" What did this damn old man mean? Why did he keep asking questions? "My master has already passed away. I like to be alone, so I don't have any close friends or relatives." "Good. You've passed." Yin Weiyang gently clapped his hands. A maid came out with a tray. On the tray was a pile of shiny gold cards. "This is 150,000 gold coins. It's considered an advance payment. The other half will be paid after the mission is over. If you can eliminate the bandit group in one fell swoop, this mayor will give you other rewards." Chu Tian did not place 100,000 gold coins in his eyes. He only cared about the Miracle Commerce's supplies. "When can we start?" "We'll start tonight. Other than you, we've already recruited many awakened soul cultivators. You can all get to know each other." Chu Tian met with the other awakened soul realm experts. Yin Weiyang was not simple. Yellowstone City was so poor, but they still managed to recruit over 10 awakened soul cultivators. Most of them were like Chu Tian. They had just broken through to the awakened soul realm, so they weren't that strong. There were 4 people with the highest strength: Yin Jun, Lin Mu, Fong Han, and Huang Haoan. Yin Jun was from the same clan as the mayor. He was the general of Yellowstone City and was currently at the 2nd awakened soul layer. The other 3 were said to be the founders of a new mercenary group in Central State. The mercenary group had just been created, so they needed money. The reward for this mission was very high, so they came all the way here to participate. Chu Tian sized up the 3 young mercenaries. They weren't even 30 years old yet, so they could be considered young talents. Lin Mu and Fong Han were both at the 2nd awakened soul layer. Huang Haoan was a bit weaker, only at the peak 1st awakened soul layer. As for the other awakened soul cultivators, they had the same status as Chu Tian. They were all rogue cultivators. Chu Tian stood among them. His appearance was average, his cultivation was average, he didn't attract the slightest bit of attention. A full awakened soul lineup. It couldn't be said they weren't strong, but it also showed that the bandits weren't simple. Yin Weiyang sat on the mayor's throne and solemnly said to Yin Jun, I want you to lead everyone to infiltrate the enemy's rear and disturb the Black Wind mountain stronghold. If the situation allows, it's best if you can kill the bandit leader. As long as you succeed, this mayor will lead the army to support you. Once the bandit leader is killed, the army will immediately attack. Yen Jun cupped his hands and said, "This lowly general obeys." Everyone received a secret report that recorded the terrain, the number of enemies, and their strength. Is everything clear? Yes. Remember, the bandits aren't weak, and there are a lot of them. Don't stay in the enemy's lair, otherwise you'll be surrounded by the bandits. Yen Wu slowly stood up. His small body seemed a bit crooked as he gave a few soft coughs. Be careful, go. Yes, Sir Mayor. Everyone confidently walked out of the mayor's palace. Chu Tian walked to the back of the group. At this time, the little fox came out of his clothes and waved its little claws, gesturing at Chu Tian a few times. You can also see it? Chu Tian and the little fox's sparkling eyes looked at each other. This is not a simple task, but it doesn't matter. I have the strength to protect myself. Let me see what this is all about. The little fox used its claws to stroke its chin like Chu Tian. It nodded its head and went back inside. Night fell. In the depths of the mountain range, there was a steep valley. The terrain was very complicated and the location was very hidden. It was a place that was easy to defend and hard to attack. This was the Black Wind Stronghold's headquarters. If Yellowstone City's army directly attacked, they would suffer heavy losses. So the best method was to send out a few experts and sneak into the bandits' lair. They would first kill the bandit leader and cause chaos among the bandits. The army would then take advantage of this weakness and attack from the outside. Yen Jun observed the terrain and said, "In front of us is the bandits' stronghold. We'll think of a way to sneak into the stronghold, but remember not to alert anyone. You guys go from the side. In around 15 minutes, there will be a patrol team passing by. Eliminate them and don't get discovered." Yes. So. For after images flashed out. The 4 awakened soul rogue cultivators split into 2 groups and moved out. Chu Tian looked over. The entire stronghold was silent. Not even a single torch was lit. It was shrouded in a black fog, giving people a very strange feeling. The little fox let out a few squeaks, as if it was warning Chu Tian. Chu Tian took out a corpse core for it to eat and rubbed its head. "Relax, it'll be fine." The others were hiding behind a small hill, waiting for the best opportunity. "Hey, don't you think it's strange?" Fang Han was the first to break the silence. He said to the others, "Where did these bandits come from? With such a large stronghold and so many bandits, the locals don't know anything about it?" Huang Haohan said this, and then suddenly added, "I bet there's definitely a problem." Lin Mu also nodded. He was the leader of the mercenary group. He was famous for his bravery and had a strong personality. "What are you afraid of? We have over 10 awakened soul cultivators. Even if we're discovered by the other side, what can they do to us? We'll just kill a path of blood. Since we've taken the money, we'll complete the mission." Fang Han and Huang Haohan looked at each other and nodded. Chu Tian observed the actions of the 3 young mercenaries and secretly shook his head. Young people, their spirit is too strong and they're not steady enough. Being a mercenary is a profession that dances on the edge of a blade, with high profits and high returns. If they're this reckless, even if they're strong, it'll be hard for them to survive. After around 10 minutes, the awakened soul cultivators that were sent out came back. Their bodies were stained with blood. "It's already been taken care of. Good job." Yen Jun gently waved his hand and said in a low voice, "The Black Wind Bandits patrol will start with a congratulatory message. This is a good opportunity. Let's go in." Yen Jun seemed to have studied the Black Wind Stronghold for a long time, so he was very clear about the Black Wind Stronghold's defenses. His orderly command gave the others confidence, and they no longer had any worries. Over 10 black-clothed figures jumped out from their hiding places like lightning. They silently passed through the Black Wind Stronghold's pass. Finally, without alerting anyone, they smoothly sneaked into the Black Wind Stronghold. Chapter 109. The valley was deep, the terrain was complex, and it was surrounded by boulders. It was very suitable for setting up sentries, which increased the difficulty of sneaking in. Fortunately, these dozen people were all strong, awakened soul cultivators. If there was even the slightest movement, even the sound of breathing, they would be able to feel it. A small patrol was silently killed by Lin Mu and Fong Han. All the corpses were hidden in the boulders, and their clothes were stripped off. Everyone put on the thief's clothes. This will help us infiltrate further. The Black Wind stronghold has several thousand thieves, and each one of them is strong. If we alarm them, it will be troublesome, so we'll attract as little attention as possible. The dozen people changed into the Black Wind stronghold's clothes. The stronghold was dark, so with their disguises, it was much easier to move around. Very good. So far it had been very smooth. Now that they were close to the center of the camp, the infiltration mission had been completed. Everyone felt a lot more at ease. As long as they created chaos here, the bandits would fall into chaos and the mayor would take this chance to attack. They would definitely be able to destroy the entire stronghold in one go. Lin Mu looked at Yin Jun with an inquiring gaze and said, "How about it? Do we launch a surprise attack now?" Everyone else prepared themselves for battle. Over 10 awakened soul cultivators, going deep into the enemy's stronghold was enough to turn the world upside down. The mayor has given the order, if the situation permits, it is best to kill the bandit leader. So far our infiltration has been very successful, so instead of launching a surprise attack, it would be better to kill the leader. Kill the leader? Lin Mu, Fong Han, and Huang Haoan, the three mercenary group leaders, looked at each other. All right, we'll kill the bandit leader and earn a merit. They had already made their decision, so the other rogue cultivators did not have any objections. At this time, a cultivator jumped down from a high place. I've observed the tents in the valley. In the center, there's a large tent that is heavily guarded. That's right, it must be the main tent. Yin Jun did not even think before saying, the bandit leader must be inside. Target lock, begin. Everyone's eyes flashed with excitement. This mission didn't seem too hard. A dozen awakened soul cultivators secretly launched a sneak attack, first killing the bandit leader, then setting fire to the entire camp. The entire bandit group would collapse. There's no harm in waiting. Just as everyone was about to move, a voice rang out. Everyone looked at the ordinary-looking young man. He was the last person the city lord had recruited. From the beginning to the end, he hadn't said much and was almost ignored by everyone. There's something wrong here. Chu Tian narrowed his eyes and looked around the tent. He suddenly reminded, I suggest that we don't act rashly. If you're scared, then get lost to first transformation. That's right, let's go. At this critical juncture, they were about to kill the thief and gain merit, but Chu Tian just had to drop the ball. Naturally, this aroused everyone's dissatisfaction, and their words were a little sharper. Yin Jun frowned and said, there are more than 10 of us, and we have the advantage of a sneak attack. What is there to be afraid of? No matter how powerful the bandit leader is, we still have a chance to retreat. Chu Tian shrugged his shoulders. I think I'll be in charge of providing support. I'll leave the main attack to you guys. If something unexpected happens, you'll be able to react. Yin Jun was very dissatisfied. General, we don't have time to waste. We've killed quite a few people along the way, and those corpses will be discovered sooner or later. Lin Mu looked at Chu Tian with a bit of disdain in his eyes. Let him stay here and provide support. Fong Han continued. That's right, time waits for no man. Yin Jun frowned and thought for a few seconds, then snorted. All right then, let's move. Coward, you can stay here. What a waste. Why would the city lord recruit someone like you? Chu Tian was left alone. Everyone began to move, quickly entering the camp and spreading out, slowly surrounding the main tent. The patrolling guards were silently killed one by one. In the end, the dozen or so cultivators successfully surrounded the main tent. Yin Jun began to gesture. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Move. The awakened soul cultivators attacked at the same time. Cold ice spike. Fong Han's body was covered in ice, turning into a several-meter-tall ice giant. His palms slammed into the ground, and several incomparably large ice spikes shot out from the ground, freezing the entire main tent. Lin Mu released his source spirit. It was a 10-meter-long giant willow tree, fiercely taking root in the ground. Lin Mu's body was covered in green spirit energy. His palms suddenly pushed out. Several hundred willow trees suddenly broke out of the ground. Like dense arrows, they continuously shot into the ice, riddling the entire tent with holes. Go die! Huang Haohan jumped up high, releasing an incomparably large source spirit. It looked like a super fan. Huang Haohan's palms heavily slammed down. The super fan source spirit heavily pressed down. The ice was completely shattered. The entire ground caved in. Ice giant source spirit, monster willow source spirit, and giant fan source spirit. The three young mercenaries were so powerful that the others had a whole new level of respect for them. The other cultivators also unleashed all of their abilities. All kinds of powerful attacks landed on the tent. The huge tent was instantly torn apart, and the entire ground caved in. Lin Mu stared at the deep caving ground. A smile hung on his face. Even if it's a triple awakened soul expert, in this kind of unprepared situation, being attacked by so many of us, they will die without a doubt. Let's go take a look. Fang Han and Huang Haohan ran over, quickly inspecting the area. Lin Mu anxiously asked, "How is it? This is bad. We've been tricked. There's no one here." Huang Haohan looked at the giant pit. He couldn't help revealing a look of shock. Lin Mu's heart was filled with fear. General. He turned around to look for Yin Jun, but Yin Jun was no longer there. No one knew what had happened. Where's General Yin? Wasn't he here a moment ago? This is bad. There's a problem here. We need to quickly retreat. When everyone realized the danger, they quickly retreated. Who would have thought that before they could even move, an incomparably large source energy array would appear from the ground? Everyone felt their source spirits become weak. This is a restriction array. This is bad. My spirit energy has been sucked away. Everyone revealed a look of fear. At this time, from the surrounding tents and corners, over 100 black, clothed men holding long blades charged out. It was as if they had been lying in ambush, waiting for this group of people to fall into their trap. This was a trap. Lin Mu's young face was filled with anger. Especially when he saw the leader of the black-clothed men, he angrily shouted, "Yin Jun, you've harmed me." Ha 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 ha. A wild laugh came from not far away. Yin Jun's figure once again appeared. His face was filled with a sinister look, as if he had turned into a different person in the blink of an eye. With a fiendish smile, he said, "It's your reactions that are too slow." Fang Han's eyes swept over the surrounding black-clothed men. Then he looked at Yin Jun, revealing a look of disbelief. "You're the leader of the Black Wind Stronghold." Yin Jun laughed and said, "Wrong. It's the vice leader." Vice leader? Then the leader was... An even stronger aura appeared. A black-clothed old man covered in black, killing intent, slowly walked out. His body was small, and he held a long staff in his hand. "City Lord, it's you." The rogue cultivators were all shocked. What was going on here? Yellowstone City, Lord Yin Weiyang, Yellowstone General Yin Jun, was the leader of this group of bandits. Why would he do this kind of thing? Recruiting experts to attack his own forces? Didn't he have nothing to do after eating his fill? Yin Weiyang faced the angry crowd. His eyes did not waver at all. He coldly asked, "Why is there one missing? That Lu Run is not here." "Humph, is this how you do things? Quickly capture him. We can't let him live today." "Relax. He is just an awakened soul cultivator. He is not a threat at all. I can easily capture him. This subordinate will go and capture him." Yin Jun cupped his hands and turned to leave. Lin Mu regretted not listening to Chu Tian's warning. But he could not understand. Why would the city lord do this kind of thing? Yin Weiyang was the city lord. He was in charge of a city with over 1 million people. His status was already very high. Why would he need to kill a caravan? If this matter was exposed, it would be a complete loss of reputation. Because the caravans Yin Weiyang had hijacked, there were many large families in Central State, even the 4 great families. This kind of matter was enough to make Yin Weiyang's entire family fall into eternal damnation. The thing that people could not understand the most was, since the Black Wind Bandits were Yellowstone City's city lord, why did he recruit experts? Why did he hire mercenaries and rogue cultivators, deliberately tricking them into a trap? These people did not have any conflicts of interest with him, not to mention any grudges. What was his motive for doing this? Yin Wuyong, why are you doing this? Lin Mu did not think that he would be this unlucky. This was his first time doing a large-scale mission, and he was sold out by his employer. Yin Wuyong coldly looked at the people trapped in the large array. You don't need to know why. You just need to understand one thing. You must die here today. The sacrifice has already reached the last step. Now you are missing the souls of an awakened soul cultivator to complete everything. So for you to die here, it is your honor. Bullsh asterisk T. Everyone kill your way out. Yin Wuyong disdainfully said. Want to escape? Being trapped in this large array, your spirit energy has already been sucked dry. You can't even use your source spirit. Do you think you can escape? Kill. Lin Mu and Fong Han led several rogue cultivators to charge forward. Although their spirit energy had been sucked dry by the large array, their battle strength was not bad. Once the two sides came into contact, they immediately killed a row of black-clothed men. Capture them alive. Yin Wuyong forcefully waved his hand, and countless black-clothed men charged forward like a pack of wolves. Lin Mu wildly roared as he charged at Yin Wuyong. Thief, die! Overestimating yourself. Yin Wuyong gave a cold snort and released countless black fog from his body. Just like a fierce demon, he released a thick killing intent as he charged at Lin Mu. This is a demonic art. Lin Mu gave a cry of horror as he completely lost consciousness. Chapter 110. Chu Tian could see that there was something strange about this camp. In fact, when he first saw Yin Wuyong in the City Lord's mansion, Chu Tian could feel a faint demonic qi wrapped around Yin Wuyong's body. It was caused by cultivating some kind of demonic art. Under normal circumstances, Chu Tian would not care about it. But thinking of Jing Hu's description of the bandits, this matter was not so simple. Demonic arts? What was demonic arts? Demonic arts generally referred to some cultivation techniques that used very bloody and cruel materials, such as the blood essence of living beings or the souls of living beings, etc. Demonic cultivators often had a strong killing intent. As their cultivation technique deepened, they would become irritable and easily angered, even bloodthirsty and cruel. There was a risk of losing themselves and going berserk. Therefore, even though demonic arts were very powerful, there were not many people who cultivated them. The mysterious bandits were a group of people who cultivated evil cultivation techniques, and the city lord of Yellowstone City also cultivated demonic arts. How could there be such a coincidence? Whether or not there was a connection between the two, there was no way to make a judgment. After sneaking into the Black Wind Mountain stronghold, Chu Tian discovered the hidden array in the camp. Only then did he completely realize that everything was a trap. No wonder Yin Wuyong only wanted rogue cultivators. No wonder Yin Wuyong only wanted young mercenaries without any background. Even if these people died or went missing, it would not cause too much of a commotion or trouble. Chu Tian had seen through Yin Wuyong's scheme. Although he had hinted to Lin Mu, who knew that this group of hotheads would not listen to him and would instead mock and ridicule him. There was no other way. He could only retreat. The array has been activated. I'm afraid those fellows are in danger. Chu Tian felt a tremor from afar. The battle had definitely started. Lin Mu's group's battle strength would be suppressed by the sealing array. It was impossible for them to escape from this trap. This was troublesome. Whether these fellows lived or died, Chu Tian did not care. Who told these idiots not to listen? Chu Tian could completely leave, but the problem was that the Miracle Commerce's goods were being detained by this group of people. If he left, what would happen to the nether flame grass, 3 lives demonic insects, and electromagnetic crystal stones that were worth millions? 1 or 2 million gold coins were nothing. The problem was whether it was the nether flame grass or the 3 lives demonic insect. They were all rare materials. Even with the Tianqian Chamber of Commerce's channels, It was impossible to collect another batch in a short period of time. If this was delayed for 10 days to half a month, it would have a significant impact on miracle commerce. Time is money. While Chu Tian was hesitating outside the Black Wind stronghold, I finally found you. A powerful aura came from the night sky, as if a terrifying ghost had suddenly attacked. Chu Tian's lips curled into a cold smile. His right hand twitched. The netherworld sword was unsheathed. The blade glowed with a dazzling sword light as it suddenly tore through the void, leaving behind a purple sword light. Dang! The black shadow was sent flying several meters. Yin Jun's saber was cut in two, and he couldn't help revealing a look of shock. My weapon is a high-grade spirit weapon. It's a very powerful treasure sword. Under the moonlight, the netherworld sword was like a 10,000-year-old ice, not moving at all and not being damaged at all. Chu Tian was wearing a simple blue robe, and his right hand held the sword, pointing at the ground. His eyes were as calm as water as he looked around and said with a faint smile, "Chasing after me alone, this is not a rational thing to do." Ha 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 ha. Yin Jun laughed into the sky. His eyes gradually turned red, and his body was filled with demonic qi. You think that with a divine weapon in your hand, you could defeat me? I'll let you understand just how stupid that is. Yin Jun's spirit energy condensed into the shape of a giant blue ape. With the support of his source spirit, his strength instantly increased and his muscles inflated like they were being inflated. His entire body became larger. Four-armed ape source spirit? The four-armed ape was a very powerful spirit beast. This kind of spirit beast was born with 4 arms. Not only was it very strong, its body was like diamond. The most powerful part was that the four-armed ape was a rare spirit beast that could cultivate a part of a human's cultivation technique. Yin Jun had the four-armed ape source spirit. Not only did his offense and defense increase, his cultivation technique also increased, so his battle strength was not small. Chu Tian stared at the four-armed ape source spirit, and his brows slightly knit together. Although I don't know what demonic cultivation technique you're cultivating, I have to say that this demonic cultivation technique is wrong. It can increase your strength by a large amount for a short period of time, and it has an immediate effect, but it is actually killing the goose that lays the golden eggs. You've been used by others. Ha 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 ha. You think I'll believe you? Die under my fist. Yin Jun's thick fist was covered in a layer of black qi. His entire fist turned a jet black color, and it looked like a fierce ghost was wrapped around his fist. Howling Ghost Fist. The berserk energy suddenly blasted towards him. Chu Tian raised his sword to block the fist, and the wild energy poured out. It was like a giant stone falling into the water, causing the surrounding soil to ripple. The soil was pushed several meters away, leaving behind a large ripple. This sword can absorb my strength. With Yin Jun's full strength attack, normal spirit weapons would have already been destroyed. The sword in this person's hand, not only did it block Yin Jun's attack, it also absorbed most of Yin Jun's strength. When the remaining strength was transferred to Chu Tian's body, there wasn't much left. This was the strength of the Netherworld sword. Actually, the Netherworld sword was not just a sharp weapon. It was also a very good defensive tool. Chu Tian loudly shouted, "Sword!" The moment the demon god's sword source spirit was released, the Netherworld sword was infused with the power of the source spirit. The sword glow instantly increased, and its strength increased by several times. Yin Jun was directly sent flying by a terrifying strength. Yin Jun revealed a look of dread. Such a strong source spirit aura. There were many people in Central State that had a sword source spirit, but he had never heard of this source spirit before. This sword source spirit was stronger than any source spirit he had seen before. It was even comparable to the legendary god-level source spirit. For a cultivator with this kind of source spirit, it was not hard for them to jump levels. It was a dangerous sword. It was a dangerous source spirit. Even if this person did not cultivate a top-grade cultivation technique, just based on these two things, he could not be underestimated. Yin Jun's expression became serious. You do have some skill, but with just this bit of skill, You can't deal with my holy religions, heavenly demon art. Heavenly demon art? Chu Tian shook his head. What kind of nonsense is this? Don't waste time. If you want to fight, then let's fight. Humph. I'll let you see the true strength of the heavenly demon art. Yin Jun suddenly raised both of his arms, and his expression became even more ferocious. His skin rapidly turned jet black, and incomparably demonic stripes crawled all over his body like tadpoles. Finally, they solidified and turned into a deep purple, like a tattoo. Chu Tian revealed a serious expression. Your spirit energy is at least twice as strong. It actually increased this much. When Yin Jun fully cast out his cultivation technique, his body was enshrouded in malevolent dark purple totem carvings. The color of his skin gradually turned black, and the demonic chi shrouding his body gave off an eerie feeling. The little fox sat on Chu Tian's shoulder, swaying its large white furry tail. Its pair of sparkling eyes revealed a look of disdain. Your time of death has come. Yin Jun's legs stomped on the ground, and he disappeared. Actually, he did not disappear, but rather he moved so fast that it gave people the illusion that he had disappeared. So fast, Chu Tian could not see it with his naked eyes at all. When he came back to his senses, Yin Jun had already appeared behind him. A palm came slashing down like a steel blade, attempting to pierce through Chu Tian's body. At this critical moment, the little fox suddenly sniffed, and a strange thing happened. The demonic chi in Yin Jun's body seemed like it could not be controlled as it came out of his pores and was instantly absorbed by the little fox. Yin Jun was shocked. This fist-sized little beast was not eye-catching at all, so he did not pay attention to it from beginning to end. He never would have thought that this little beast would have this kind of ability. Glass body. Chu Tian's body was instantly covered in a layer of transparent glass like starlight. When Yin Jun's hand blade fell on it, there was an ear-piercing sound and large cracks appeared on the glass, but it completely withstood it. A terrifying power was reflected back. The bones in Yin Jun's hand broke into several pieces. With a pitiful cry, he flew out and heavily fell to the ground. You're not completely useless, you little thing. Chu Tian looked at the little fox in a new light. He had indeed underestimated his opponent a bit. There were many good cultivation techniques in this ancient era, and the heavenly demon art was a cultivation technique that overdrew one's potential, but it was stronger than he had imagined. If the little fox had not absorbed most of Yin Jun's demonic chi, even if Chu Tian had not been killed, he would have been heavily injured. The little fox gave a sneeze and stood up on its two legs. It raised its claws in a very human manner and revealed a very proud and disdainful look. This is for you. Chu Tian gave it a corpse core, and the little fox happily hugged it and began to eat it. Yin Jun fell to the ground and had already lost his battle strength. His face was filled with fear as he shouted, "What kind of cultivation technique is that? It can actually jump levels to block my heavenly demon art." Yin Jun was very clear on the power of his attack. Even if half of his demonic chi had been absorbed by the mysterious spirit beast, at least half of his strength remained. Even a cultivator of the same level would find it hard to block it. This person was clearly a cultivator that had just stepped into the awakened soul realm, but he could still block it and even heavily injure him. This kind of heaven-defying defensive power was simply too terrifying. His source spirit was clearly a sword, and a sword source spirit was a pure attack source spirit. It did not have any defensive power. Unless he practiced a top-grade defensive cultivation technique and practiced it to the large success realm. How could Yin Jun know? Chu Tian's starlight immortal body had just reached the small success realm. Heavenly demon art? Although it increases one's battle strength, it squeezes out one's potential and harms one's enemy. In the end, it is just a small path and cannot be considered elegant. After saying this, the sword in his hand fell, and a head fell to the ground. Yin Jun had been killed. Chu Tian looked in the direction of the Black Wind stronghold and muttered to himself, "How did these people learn this ancient demon art? Just what kind of experience did they have? This matter has become interesting. The bandits in the Black Wind stronghold should be the elites of Yellowstone City's army. If I go in alone, I'm afraid I won't be able to defeat them." The little fox put down the corpse core and pointed in a direction with its claw. "You want me to go this way?" The little fox nodded. Chu Tian followed the little fox's direction and went around the patrolling Black Wind stronghold bandits. Not long after, he found a giant cave in the depths of the valley. The cave went straight to the ground. There were several masked black-clothed bandits guarding it. A thick demonic aura slowly rose from the pitch-black cave. Chu Tian's keen senses told him that this mysterious demonic cave should be related to these people. When Chu Tian was prepared to go in, a sound came from not far away. He quickly restrained his aura. Yin Wuyan walked in front. There were 8-9 people covered in injuries, and they were being guarded by a large group of black-clothed bandits. They were slowly being escorted over. They were all captured. "Go in." Yin Wuyan forcefully brought Lin Mu and the others into the pitch-black demon cave. Chapter 111. What was at the bottom of the devil's den? Even if he tossed aside his curiosity, he had not gotten back the items from Miracle Commerce, so he had to go down and investigate. Only, there were more than 10 black-clothed men guarding the devil's den, and each one of them was not a simple character. All of them had the strength of the 9th body refinement layer. If Chu Tian wanted to kill them, he would need to expend some effort. Even if he stuck an invisibility talisman on him and sneaked in, one man and one sword would not be able to kill them all without a sound. There were thousands of bandits in the Black Wind stronghold. If he did not move quickly, he might poke a hornet's nest, and Chu Tian would not be able to find out the secret of the Devil's Denver. There was no other way. He could only use it. Chu Tian walked out from the stone he was hiding in, swaggering in the direction of the Devil's Denver. Because Chu Tian was wearing the clothes of the Black Wind stronghold bandits, the black-clothed men were stunned, unable to identify him. Kay pulled out his weapon at the same time and shouted, "Where are you from? This is a forbidden area, don't you know? Scram, otherwise I will take your life." Bang! An invisible pressure suddenly blossomed. A malevolent silhouette appeared behind Chu Tian, as if a primordial demon god had descended into the modern world, an ancient and eternal aura, enough to make anyone's heart tremble. The malevolent silhouette disappeared in a flash. Chu Tian's closed eyes opened, and his pupils turned a strange silver white. His left eye was silver, and his right eye was white. 7 pupils appeared in his eyes, 1 in the middle, and the other 6 around it like flower petals. Each pupil had a different color, and when they overlapped with each other, it was like a strange flower had bloomed. The moment the black-clothed men saw Chu Tian's eyes, bang! At that moment, the entire world collapsed with a loud rumble. They pretended to lose consciousness and fell to the ground at the same time, without making a sound. Their brains stopped working and their hearts stopped beating. Although there were no wounds on the inside or outside, they could not be more dead. In just a short moment, the entire process did not even take half a second. Chu Tian glanced at them, and they were all killed. Pain, pain, pain. My head hurts. Chu Tian's face became somewhat pale as he used his hand to rub his forehead. He took a few deep breaths and slowly recovered his wits. He took out a complete Yuan essence grass from his pocket and swallowed it whole, allowing his Yuan power to quickly recover a portion of it. Every time he used his main source spirit, the burden on his mind was too great. With large amounts of meteor grass refining his body, Chu Tian's meridians were several times stronger than a normal person's, and his spirit energy was much stronger than others of the same level. Even in this kind of situation, using his main source spirit to attack, he could only complete a single attack. The consumption was too great. His body was almost completely squeezed dry. The little fox let out a whimper, and its furry body curled up. Its sparkling eyes revealed a look of shock and fear. Now you know how powerful I am. Let's see if you still dare to be dishonest in the future. The little fox returned to normal and bared its fangs at Chu Tian as if it was protesting at Chu Tian. Chu Tian ignored it and swaggered into the demon's cave. This should be an ancient ruin, but it wasn't that old, probably only several hundred years old. There were long stone steps that led downwards, and on the left and right sides of the stone walls, There were demonic totem carvings that released a strange aura. When he reached the end of the stone steps, a dark and gloomy hall appeared in front of Chu Tian. Treasure chests were piled up in every corner of the hall. Gold, silver, jewels, and weapon materials were scattered all over the ground, making it seem like a treasure cave. Damn, he finally found it. Chu Tian found that among these materials, there were many flags of merchant caravans. It was clear that they were stolen goods. There was a deep pool of blood in the center of the hall that was filled with thick blood. It was like it had a life of its own as it slowly wriggled. Yellowstone City's mayor, Yin Weiyang, led 20 black, clothed bandits to the side. Yin Weiyang's face was filled with awe and worship as he knelt in the center of the hall. He bowed his head to the ground as he muttered something, as if he was communicating with someone. Suddenly, he stood up and waved his right hand. "Send them down." The black-clothed man walked into the group of women and children. "What are you doing? Let me go. Quickly let me go." Huang Haoan and the other 3 row cultivators were dragged out of the group of captives by the black-clothed bandits and pushed into the blood pool. The black-clothed man and Yin Weiyang shouted at the same time as they cowed out. "My lord, please accept my sacrifice." Lin Mu and Fong Han's eyes popped out as they shouted, "No." The 4 of them were thrown into the blood pool, but they did not sink. Rather, they floated on the surface. The thick blood water seemed like it was alive as it poured into their 7 orifices. The 2 of them continued to twitch as their life force and spirit energy quickly disappeared. Their skin quickly dried up and their bodies gradually aged. Chu Tian held the netherworld sword as he hid in the corner. Seeing this scene, he couldn't help tightly knit his brows. The blood pool seemed to be able to swallow a person's life essence and life force. It was very powerful. Not bad, not bad. The blood essence and life essence of an awakened soul cultivator is really delicious. As long as I swallow these awakened soul cultivators, this one will be able to awaken. The materials and wealth we've plundered these days will become the capital of the holy religion. You've done a meritorious deed by reviving this one. You've done a meritorious deed by the religion. Naturally, you will receive your reward. A hoarse voice came from the blood pool. This voice was dry and sharp, like it was made from rubbing stone, making people feel uncomfortable. Yin Weiyang excitedly cowed out. "Thank you, Branch Master. We will go through fire and water. What are you looking at? Quickly throw these people in." "Wait." The voice from the blood pool slowly sounded out. "You seem to have let a little mouse in." Yin Weiyang was surprised as he immediately turned around and shouted, "Who is it?" Chu Tian slightly knit his brows. This old demon's divine sense was not weak. He wanted to launch a sneak attack, but who would have thought that as soon as he entered the main hall, he would be discovered by the other side? It's fine. Since he was exposed, there was no need to hide anymore. Chu Tian walked out from behind a pillar in the corner. "Mayor Yin, we meet again." Lin Mu, Fong Han, and the others were all stunned. Was this little brat stupid? He had managed to escape with great difficulty, but he actually took the initiative to come back. Yin Weiyang clearly did not expect to see him. "Where's that rice bucket, Yin Jun?" Chu Tian laughed and said, "What are you so anxious for? I'll send you back to your reunion." Yin Weiyang angrily roared out from shame, "Go kill him!" The 20 black-clothed bandits pulled out their weapons and turned into 20 black shadows. From different directions, they all attacked Chu Tian at the same time. These 20 people were all at the 9th body refinement layer. Under normal circumstances, they were enough to deal with a first awakened soul layer cultivator. Hyperfocus. Chu Tian entered hyperfocus, and everything in the world suddenly slowed down. Every movement of the black-clothed man was clearly grasped in his mind. The demon god's sword source spirit appeared. Chu Tian charged out with the netherworld sword in his hand. The beautiful sword glow was like a ray of light, quickly passing through the black-clothed bandits. Not a single one of them could block this sword. Chu Tian passed through the 20 bandits, finally stopping in the middle of the main hall. Putong, putong. The black-clothed bandits fell to the ground one by one. They were all killed with a single slash. It was simple and clean, without any hesitation. Yin Weiyang's pupils slightly contracted. Hyperfocus? That rice bucket, Yin Jun, really died in your hands. Chu Tian stared at the blood pool for a long time. Huang Haohan and the other cultivator had already turned into dried corpses. This pool of blood essence, I'm afraid it took at least 2,000 body refinement cultivators to refine it. Chu Tian's eyes gradually became cold to the bone. Killing so many innocent people for your own benefit. Are you not afraid of retribution? Every man for himself will be destroyed by the heavens. Yin Weiyang revealed a crazed expression. I'm already over 60 years old and have been the mayor of this small city for 20 years. I once thought that I would live my entire life like this. This world is so vast. This world is so wonderful. Southern Xia is just a drop in the ocean, and a person lives their entire life in this small city. I'm not willing. It was the branch master who gave me a chance. He allowed me to cultivate the strange cultivation technique of the Qianma cult. He gave me a chance to be reborn, a frog at the bottom of a well like you. How could you understand my feelings? Chu Tian gave a sigh. Everyone had their own destiny, but he could understand Yin Weiyang's feelings. In such a wonderful world, in such a vast world, Yin Weiyang was destined to be a lowly ant. He would only be able to walk around in a small place for the rest of his life. He wanted to go out, to go further. Was this wrong? That's right. Wasn't Chu Tian the same? Chu Tian's dream, Chu Tian's pursuit, was actually the same as Yin Weiyang's. He fantasized about breaking through the boundaries that could not be broken and seeing a new world. This was a desire that came from the depths of his soul. Yin Weiyang's skin gradually turned pitch black. Large amounts of runes appeared all over his body. It was like an ancient evil totem was being tattooed on his body. Chu Tian slightly knit his eyebrows. The runes on this person's body were even more dense and complex. He was afraid that his cultivation of the heavenly demon art was even higher than Yin Jun's. Yin Weiyang himself was at the peak second body refinement layer. Now that he had the power of the heavenly demon art, his strength would probably increase by another level. Become a sacrifice for the Qianma cult. Yin Weiyang's right foot fiercely stomped on the ground. Red and white spirit energy rose from his body and condensed into the image of a fierce two-headed ape. Chu Tian revealed a dignified expression. Ice and fire from the same source? Dual attributed source spirit. Yin Weiyang's two-headed ice and fire ape source spirit was a spirit beast that had two different attributes. Yin Weiyang also practiced two different attributed cultivation techniques. Even if he practiced an ice and fire attributed cultivation technique, he would not be rejected. His battle strength was very shocking. Not to mention that Yin Weiyang had the support of the heavenly demon art. His strength in all aspects had increased by a large amount. He was almost at the level of a triple awakened soul expert. Chu Tian did not have a strong enough cultivation technique. With his trivial first awakened soul layer cultivation, it would be very difficult for him, almost in an instant. Yin Weiyang's small body suddenly doubled in size. He turned into a strong giant. He turned into a black shadow and instantly appeared in front of him. His left fist condensed with cold energy as he punched out. Starlight, immortal body. Chu Tian's body condensed starlight as he held his sword in front of him. Yin Weiyang's fist directly hit the blade, and the cold ice instantly froze the blade. Roar! Yin Weiyang let out a wild beast-like roar. His other fist was covered in a dazzling flame as it slammed into the frozen blade. The power of ice and fire mixed together and created a large explosion. Chu Tian was sent flying like a piece of paper. He heavily slammed into a pillar, and the entire pillar began to crack. But Chu Tian had the protection of the starlight immortal body, so he was not injured at all. Zazi, Yin Weiyang laughed. Your cultivation technique is not simple. With such a strong defense, you indeed have the ability to kill Yin Jun. But against me, this defense is not enough. While speaking, the demonic qi on Yin Weiyang's body became stronger and stronger. It covered his entire body and it was like a fierce ghost that wrapped around his body. Those two fists were just probing. Now he would go all out. With the experience of fighting against Yin Jun, Chu Tian was very clear that once Yin Weiyang used his full strength, his speed would reach a level that the naked eye could not catch. Before Chu Tian could even react, he would be killed by the other side's fist. If the naked eye could not catch it, then there was no need to use the naked eye. Chu Tian closed his eyes. Mind's eye opened. When Chu Tian opened his mind's eye, he instantly saw through Yin Weiyang's body. His power composition, his cultivation technique, his spirit energy circulation, and even his weaknesses were all exposed to Chu Tian's eyes. Mind's eye. A surprised voice came from the blood pool. Die! Yin Weiyang did not care about that. He brought along the sky filled with demonic qi, one fist of ice and one fist of fire. Both fists came together, and he used his strongest strength to attack Chu Tian. Fox, it's up to you. The little fox received the order and stood up from Chu Tian's shoulder. It forcefully took a deep breath, and the demonic qi on Yin Weiyang's body was instantly sucked out by the little fox and swallowed into its stomach. Yin Weiyang was shocked. What is this? It actually broke my demonic cultivation technique. Chu Tian's body was filled with spirit energy, and the demon god's sword source spirit appeared. It filled the netherworld sword with a large amount of power, and the purple-red sword glow suddenly increased by several times. 1 step, 2 steps. Chu Tian took 2 steps forward. Yin Weiyang's weak points and flaws could not escape his mind's eye at all. The bright sword glow swept out. Yin Weiyang's fire and ice fists were still sent out, creating 2 large holes in the ground, but he could not hit Chu Tian. His eyes popped out as he revealed a look of disbelief. I actually lost? Impossible. A red line appeared on Yin Weiyang's waist. Just like cutting through straw, his body was cut in 2 and he was killed on the spot, until his consciousness faded away. He did not dare believe that he would lose. Chapter 112. Dang! Dang! Several shattering sounds rang out. Chu Tian cut off the shackles on Lin Mu, Fong Han, and the others. Lin Mu revealed a look of gratitude. I can't thank you with words. I will repay you with 10,000 deaths. This place is quickly surrounded. Chu Tian gave some Yuan essence grass to these people. Take these elixirs and quickly recover your spirit energy. We can't stay here for long. Prepare to kill our way out. A few random dogs really can't be relied on. The blood pool in the center of the hall began to boil, and a tall figure floated up from it. In an instant, an extremely terrifying aura surged out, as if the entire space was soaked in blood that made people want to vomit. Young man, your potential isn't bad. It would be a pity to kill you. Now that the sacred religion needs people, if you choose to rely on me, this one will accept you as a direct disciple and teach you the true demonic arts of the sacred religion. There will be endless elixirs and wealth. That tall figure was completely naked and covered in sticky blood. His entire body was like a half-melted wax, and his facial features were almost indistinguishable. Only a pair of scarlet eyes could be seen. Lin Mu and Fong Han were stunned. What was this thing? It was a creepy feeling. This fellow had clearly been dead for several hundred years. Now that he had revived in front of them, how could they not be shocked and terrified? Ha! 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 You should really look at yourself in the mirror. Chu Tian faced the blood person's pressure and did not feel any fear at all. Rather, he taunted. You look like shit and you want me to be your disciple? Even if you don't think it's shameful, I think it's shameful, pay. Impudent. A terrifying pressure was suddenly released. Lin Mu and the others trembled as a mountain of corpses and a sea of blood appeared in front of them. The pungent smell of blood directly drilled into their minds, making their souls tremble. That oppressive feeling made it hard for them to breathe. Too terrifying, it was truly too terrifying. This aura had already surpassed an Earth Soul Realm expert, even surpassing an illustrious Soul Realm expert. This blood person was already a legendary true Soul Realm expert. The awakened Soul Realm was split into 3 stages. In the entire central state, There were less than 10 known true soul realm experts. Just the aura of a true soul realm expert was enough to make a normal awakened soul cultivator's battle intent collapse. I am the leader of the Tianma cult. Weak people from small countries like you are not even considered as ants in front of me. The bloody man slowly rose from the blood pool completely, and the powerful pressure continued to oppress everyone. I saw that your aptitude was not bad, and I wanted to take you as my disciple, but you didn't know how to cherish it? Then go to hell. A furious, murderous aura swept over. Everyone felt as if they had fallen into an ice cave. It's over, it's over. An existence comparable to a true soul realm expert had made a move. These people did not have the strength to resist at all. The bloody man swept his gaze over the others and said coldly, "Our sect is reviving, and it is time for us to use people. I'll give you all a chance to live." Everyone seemed to have seen a ray of hope. Who will want to die? Survival was a person's instinct. Facing this old monster from who knows how many years ago, these inexperienced people didn't even have the courage to resist. Kill him. Whoever can kill him will become a disciple of the great Tianma cult. The bloody man's cold and tempting voice reverberated through the main hall. This is the Tianma cult's peerless demonic technique that this one personally taught. With these words, everyone revealed a complex expression. This bloody man was an existence with a very high cultivation base. An old senior from several hundred years ago, the cultivation technique and resources he had were unimaginable. The cultivators here, if they weren't young mercenaries, they were normal rogue cultivators. To become an awakened soul cultivator, they all relied on opportunities. After becoming an awakened soul cultivator, they had already reached the peak of their life. Who didn't want to become stronger? Who didn't want to practice a stronger cultivation technique? Who didn't want to go to a new world? If they missed this chance, they might never encounter it again. Chu Tian saw their expressions change. This is just a trick. Don't fall for it. The bloody man's tempting voice urgently rang out. Do you want to be unknown for the rest of your lives? This once-in-a-blue-moon opportunity is right in front of you. As long as you pass this test and become a disciple of the Tianma cult, you can follow this one to roam the world and rebuild the glory of our sacred cult. The eyes of these people were already filled with fanaticism. This person was at least a true soul realm expert, and he had even broken through to the awakened soul realm. There weren't many people like this in the entire southern Xia. If they could follow this kind of peerless expert, wouldn't it be a great fortune? Don't be fooled by his appearance. This person was seriously injured several hundred years ago and was on the verge of death. He sealed his life force and sealed himself in ice until today. He used this kind of people like Yin Wuyang to collect materials to heal his injuries. His injuries have not completely healed, and he is in a very weak state. Otherwise, if he had the confidence to kill us, he would have already made his move. Why would he waste so many words? The bloody man's expression changed. This fellow could actually see through this much. The bloody man was indeed one of the leaders of the Tianma cult. When he was on the verge of death, he used a secret technique to seal himself in ice, allowing his life force to continue. After Yin Wuyang opened the ruins and awakened this bloody man, the bloody man used this method to bewitch Yin Wuyang, making him kill countless civilians and 2,000 body refinement cultivators to refine a large amount of blood essence to heal his injuries and prolong his life. After a few months of recuperation, the bloody man's injuries were stabilized, but his vitality was greatly injured and his cultivation base had not recovered. He could only swallow the essence of awakened soul cultivators to restore him to his peak. Who would have thought that Chu Tian would suddenly appear? The bloody man was currently in a weak state, so he only had 1% of his peak strength. Lin Mu resisted the temptation of the bloody man and turned around to shout at the people beside him. This is a bluff. He just wants us to kill each other. Everyone, don't fall for it. Peerless cultivation techniques, unlimited wealth, prestigious authority. As long as you follow this one, everything will be yours. The bloody man said word by word. Are you sure you want to watch this opportunity slip away right in front of your eyes? Do you want to seek your own death? Kill, kill. Kill this fellow. These rogue cultivators all had red eyes and a pair of eyes filled with killing intent as they stared at Chu Tian. They had already forgotten who had saved them and who had helped them recover their strength. Fang Han stood up and angrily said, "This demon wants to absorb all of your essence. It was Brother Liu who saved us, but now you don't want to repay Brother Liu and even want to help the demon harm him. Don't you feel ashamed? Scram! Don't block us. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Even if you don't want it, we still want it." Fang Han and Lin Mu stood in front of Chu Tian, their faces filled with solemn expressions as they looked at these people. The bloody man used a few words to incite these people and let out a wild laugh. "Kill! Kill! Kill them! Every man for himself will be destroyed by the heavens. Step on their corpses and walk into a new world." Chu Tian shouted, "Block them! I'll go kill this ugly monster." "All right." Lin Mu and Fang Han gave a loud roar and immediately joined hands to block the rogue cultivators. Chu Tian raised his sword and passed through the main hall, directly attacking the bloody man. The battle was about to begin. Lin Mu and Fang Han's cultivations weren't bad, but two fists couldn't fight against four hands. They couldn't hold on for long, so Chu Tian had to quickly end this battle. "You want to fight this king alone?" As the blood person's spirit energy surged, an ear-piercing noise rang out. A giant blood-red bat Yuan spirit came out of its body. When the blood-red bat Yuan spirit was summoned, it immediately released a strong blood-red fluctuation in the surrounding space. "Blood demon bat?" Chu Tian's eyes narrowed, and he immediately stopped moving. He pulled back, and the blood-red fluctuation hit his body, instantly creating large cracks on his glass body. An ear-piercing spiritual wave directly entered his brain and cut off Chu Tian's consciousness. Chu Tian's eyes turned black, and he almost fainted. So strong. The bat's sound wave attack was a double attack that contained normal energy and spiritual energy. Chu Tian's starlight immortal body could barely block the energy attack, but he could not block the spiritual attack. Although this bloodman's strength had not recovered, his battle strength was not inferior to a triple awakened soul's. With Chu Tian's current strength, defeating a peak second awakened soul layer cultivator was already a bit difficult, not to mention a triple awakened soul. The difference in cultivation was just too big. "I gave you a path to live, but you don't want to take it. Then you'll become this one's sacrifice." The Bloodman's Bat Source Spirit released a vertical sound wave attack that sent Chu Tian flying several meters away. He crashed into several pillars, and even with the Starlight Immortal Body's protection, Chu Tian still suffered heavy injuries. The worst thing was that this sound wave contained a spiritual attack that continued to deprive Chu Tian of his mobility. It made it so that Chu Tian could not dodge or resist at all. 10,000 bat, devouring body. The bloody man raised his hands high, and the bat's source spirit immediately disintegrated, releasing a thick blood mist, which instantly covered the bloody man's body. Countless scarlet bats the size of a palm were born from the blood mist, and like a blood cloud, they quickly covered Chu Tian. Once the blood-sucking bats landed on his body, they would instantly suck his blood essence dry. Scram! The demon god's sword appeared in a flash. The blood-red bats were all shattered and turned back into a blood fog that returned to the bloodman's body. Chu Tian's starlight body continued to recover, and he returned to his strongest defense. The injuries he had just received were quickly healed. "You recovered your consciousness this quickly." The bloodman was a little surprised. It was reasonable to say that with a trivial first awakened soul layer, fainting on the spot from the bat's spiritual attack was normal. No matter how strong his consciousness was, it was impossible for him to recover this quickly. There was a problem with this brat's body. Chu Tian's main source spirit could counteract the spiritual attack. Therefore, the blood demon bat's spiritual attack did not affect Chu Tian at all. The bloodman flew into the air and was surrounded by the blood fog. Struggling at death's door, This one will take your little life now. There was not much spirit energy left in Chu Tian's body. The demon god's sword source spirit continued to pour energy into the netherworld sword, and the netherworld sword's purple glow became stronger and stronger. 1 meter, 2 meters, 3 meters. The sword glow grew to 4-5 meters long. It was like a purple-red beam of light that contained an ancient destructive power that seemed like it could cut through anything in this world. This sword intent was this strong. This sword's source spirit was not a small matter. This sword condensed all of Chu Tian's strength. Even if the Blood Man were to take it head-on, it would still be hard for him to block it. But the Blood Man was confident in himself. He cultivated the Tianma cult's blood transformation art. The cultivation process was very cruel, and it required large amounts of blood essence from living cultivators, but it could still attack and defend at the same time. The blood fog around him was formed from the blood essence of living beings and could condense a strong defense. He had absolute confidence that he could block Chu Tian's sword. Heavenly Demon devouring blood. The Blood Man spat out a large amount of blood fog that instantly surrounded Chu Tian's body. The strong corrosive power continued to penetrate, and the Starlight Immortal Body's defense was quickly weakened. As long as his defense was broken, Chu Tian would be killed by the blood poison. At this critical moment, the little fox suddenly jumped out and spat out a gray light at the Blood Man. When the Blood Man was covered by the light, the blood mist around his body flowed out like water and was sucked into the little fox's stomach. The Blood Man was shocked. What? Although he had noticed this spirit beast, he never would have thought that this spirit beast would have this kind of ability. Not only could it absorb the heavenly demon art, demonic chi, it could even absorb the blood transformation art, blood chi. These two demonic arts were the most important cultivation techniques of the Tianma cult. This little beast could restrain all the demonic arts in the world. The blood fog dissipated. Not only did it take away the Blood Man's defenses, it also took away the Blood Man's strength. The essence of the great art of blood transformation that the Blood Man cultivated was to circulate the power of his blood essence. When his blood essence was sucked dry, it was equivalent to his strength being sucked dry. He, who was already very weak, became even weaker now. No, stop! The Blood Man gave a mournful cry. A 5-6 meter long, giant sword glow slashed down from head to toe, cutting the Blood Man in half. This several hundred-year-old demon had actually died under Chu Tian's sword like this. Chapter 113. This great character from several hundred years ago was killed by a nameless youth with a single slash. This fellow had just stepped into the first awakened soul layer. This was a battle that jumped realms, and it was not just a small jump. Was he still human? He was simply a monster. When their dreams were completely shattered, these rogue cultivators all had pale faces and lost their will to fight. They were so scared that they wanted to leave the battle and escape. Lin Mu loudly roared, "Where do you think you're going?" Chu Tian shouted, "Don't chase a cornered enemy. Forget it." This motley crew, Chu Tian did not place them in his eyes. Not to mention that Lin Mu and Fong Han's spirit energy was almost exhausted. "Brother, I've never admired anyone in my life, but you are definitely the first," Lin Mu said with an excited expression. "You killed the demon and broke the Yellowstone City Lord scheme. You've really done a great deed. You're going to be famous." Famous? Forget it. For a person like me, being famous is too easy, but being low-key is very hard. Don't be happy too early. Fong Han knit his brows and said, "The Black Wind stronghold is filled with Yin Weiyang's minions. We haven't completely escaped from danger yet. What are you afraid of? We'll just join hands and kill our way out." Lin Mu looked at Chu Tian and asked, "Brother, what do you think? Leaving like this is too much of a loss." Chu Tian shook his head and said, "We were tricked by that old fool and almost lost our lives. Shouldn't we ask for some interest?" The two of them seemed to realize something and looked around. The ground was filled with gold, silver, and jewels, as well as equipment and materials. It was filled with a rich aura as it shined with an alluring light. If a normal person casually grabbed a handful, it would be enough to enjoy for a lifetime. Even for an awakened soul realm expert, it would be considered a large treasure. The little fox nimbly jumped up and turned into a cloud of gray mist in the air. In the next second, a head popped out from a pile of materials. It held a spirit fruit in each of its paws and began to chew on it with relish. The two spirit fruits that were as big as its body were stuffed into its stomach in 3-4 seconds, but its little body did not grow at all. Lin Mu and Fong Han were stunned. Just where did this little critter come from? That strange teleportation-like technique, coupled with his unbelievable appetite, made people look at him in a new light. At this moment, the sounds of battle rang out from above. The loose cultivators who had just escaped were fighting with the Blackwind bandits. The Blackwind bandits had discovered that something had happened down below and were definitely going to attack. If you bring out the branch leader's corpse and Yin Wuyong's head, that motley crew's morale will naturally collapse when they see these two things. Good idea. Most of the Blackwind bandits were Yin Wuyong's bodyguards. They followed Yin Wuyong and served the Bloody Men, which was how they were taught the demonic arts. When these bodyguards saw that Yin Wuyong was killed, and even their mysterious branch leader was killed, they knew that the whole thing had been exposed, and their morale would definitely collapse. Then, he took out a few of the leaders. Even if there were only a few left, the rest would not be able to pose a threat. Lin Mu and Fong Han carried the heads and left. Chu Tian was too lazy to participate in the battle. He first ate a few elixirs and recovered some of his energy. Then, he searched through the treasure chests in the hall for what he wanted. Found it. When he opened the huge cargo chest with the Tianjin Chamber of Commerce's logo, it was neatly placed inside. Many square-shaped crystal medicine boxes were neatly placed inside. Each box contained a complete black-red herb, surrounded by a fiery aura, as if the entire herb was burning. The nether flame grass was a yang attribute herb that grew in the land of extreme Yin. The nether flame grass had a strong fire attribute energy, and the flame contained a dense black Yin aura. This caused the flame to contain a strong corrosive poison. If an ordinary person touched it, they would die immediately. This herb could be used in refining weapons, alchemy, and formations. Although the nether flame grass was not an elixir that took several hundred years to grow, it was still the same as the meteor grass. It had a very harsh environment to grow, and it was very hard to cultivate, so it was listed as a rare herb. The nether flame grass was a level 2 material, which was a level higher than the meteor grass. Therefore, its price was very high, with each one costing 500-600 gold coins. It was almost enough to buy a level 1 elixir. This is great. It's a good thing these things are still here. The medicine box was specially made. Not only could it protect the herb, the runes could prevent the herb's medicinal properties from leaking, and it could also prevent the nether flame grass from being poisoned. There were several large boxes filled with nether flame grass. There were around 1,000 of them. The Spirit King bead had shrunk by 2/3. The 1,000-year nether flame source flame was very weak, like a candle in the wind that could be extinguished at any time. He had finally made it. If he had been a day or two later, this precious spirit flame would have completely disappeared. The value of the nether flame itself was very high. Not to mention a 1,000-year nether flame that had been refined by the Spirit King for 1,000 years and contained ghost energy. The value of this item was not lower than the netherworld sword. The nether flame wrapped around the Spirit King bead was slowly peeled off. Chu Tian used the starlight to protect his body, avoiding being burned by the dangerous flame during the process. This blue and white flame was around the size of a fingernail. It slowly pulsed in his palm, faintly letting out a ghostly howl as it released a dark and terrifying aura. The flame's temperature was not high. It even gave off an ice-cold feeling. Because the nether flame was a cold flame, it did not have a strong ability to burn materials, but it could burn energy. In theory, it was the nemesis of any protective spirit energy or defensive cultivation technique. After the Spirit King had refined it for 1,000 years, the nether flame had been bestowed with ghost energy, increasing its corrosive ability. Although it did not have the ability to burn materials, it could easily corrode normal materials. The flame contained the unique spiritual energy of a ghost, which could interfere with the enemy's mind, corroding materials, burning energy, and interfering with the mind. The three-layered attack of material, energy, and mind was very strong. Let's first subdue it. Chu Tian's palm lit up, and a large amount of spirit energy entered the nether flame. The dim flame violently pulsed a few times. The nether ghost flame had only been born for a few days, but it already had a weak consciousness, so it was instinctively resisting. It was a futile effort. The nether ghost flame was too weak. It could be extinguished at any time. How could it resist Chu Tian? Other than submitting, it had no other choice. His spirit energy easily seeped into the flame, controlling the core of the ghost flame. Just like any soul-contracting weapon, it firmly controlled the nether ghost flame. This blue and white flame was connected to Chu Tian's mind, moving as he wished. It lingered around his fingertip, deliberately avoiding hurting its master. Chu Tian nodded in satisfaction. This really is a good treasure. The nether ghost flame was a natural treasure. This so-called natural treasure was something that was naturally formed by the world. It did not need to be refined or processed. It was a kind of treasure that could be used. For example, there was a natural thing called the void gourd. It naturally contained a space and could be used as a storage treasure. There were many similar things. Chu Tian did not think it was a rare thing. The nether ghost flame's fire seed had already been activated and the flame was very weak. It could be extinguished at any time. In order to make it stronger, it could only be fed. Not every material could be refined by the nether ghost flame. The materials to cultivate the nether ghost flame not only needed to have enough energy, they also needed to have a unique attribute like the nether ghost flame. The nether flame grass was one of the best materials. Go! The nether ghost flame flowed out of his fingers and fell onto the surface of the crystal box. It was like a strong acid dripping onto it. It immediately released large amounts of dark green flames. It was like a thin layer of cardboard, easily corroding a small hole in the crystal box. The ghost flame entered the box and covered a stalk of nether flame grass. The herb quickly withered and large amounts of dark red energy leaked out from the herb, being swallowed by the nether ghost flame. After swallowing a stalk of nether flame grass, the flame became a bit brighter. The nether ghost flame split into two and burned through two crystal boxes. After swallowing two herbs, it split into four and swallowed 4 stalks of nether flame grass. In a quarter of an hour, 1,000 stalks of nether flame grass had been swallowed by the ghost flame. Good. This flame is really strong. Under the control of his mind, hundreds of small blue and white fireballs floated in the air. Each one was the size of a fingernail. Chu Tian clasped his hands together. Countless specks of light gathered together, forming a fireball the size of a human head. The blue and white flames burned, but not only did it not release any heat, it made people feel very cold. Not to mention normal people resisting. Just looking at the fireball would make their hearts palpitate, and they would even have terrifying hallucinations. That cold and terrifying death aura made people's hearts tremble. It's too eye-catching to carry such a huge fireball around. Chu Tian controlled the fireball and revealed an awkward expression. I don't have a fire source spirit, and I don't have a flame cultivation technique. Where should I put it? With a natural flame source spirit, the spiritual flame could directly merge with his body. Yin also had a flame control cultivation technique, so the flames could be stored in his meridians through his cultivation technique. Chu Tian did not have a fire source spirit and did not have a special flame control cultivation technique, so the netherworld ghost flame was like a weapon to him. Only this weapon was very special and could be stored in a normal container. The little fox kept gnawing on a piece of ginseng. It stretched out its little claw and pointed at the netherworld sword. Chu Tian asked in a surprised voice, "You mean you want to store it in the sword?" The little fox made a gesture with its little claw to show its affirmation. Chu Tian remembered that when he had subdued the netherworld sword, he had seen the netherworld sword's weapon spirit. Wasn't it just a burning monster? Perhaps the Netherworld sword and the Netherworld flame were born from the same body, but they were separated later on. Let's give it a try. The Netherworld sword entered the flame. The Netherworld flame seemed to be attracted by something and was immediately pulled in, merging with the Netherworld sword. It made the sword even brighter, and the vein patterns released a blue and white glow. As the flame flowed, it released an aura similar to that of a living being. The Netherworld sword was not corroded, rather its aura became stronger. It really is like this. This sword's weapon spirit is the Netherworld flame. Chu Tian gently waved it, and the flames covered the sword. He revealed a surprised expression. This kind of innate spiritual object can also be used as a weapon spirit. The ancient refining techniques really do have their merits. After the Netherworld ghost flame completely merged with the Netherworld sword, the Netherworld sword released a strange consciousness that gave Chu Tian a bit of enlightenment. At the same time, a mysterious energy entered Chu Tian's body from the sword. The demon god's sword source spirit was automatically activated. Chu Tian could clearly feel his cultivation base increase. This was really interesting. Chu Tian raised the fire raised the sword raised the man, and the man raised the fire. Man, sword, and fire, the three merged into one. This was the essence of the Netherworld flame sword. Chu Tian waved his hand. The edge of the cold sword tore through the void, and the runes lit up one after another. A beam of sword chi burst out, piercing through the center of a pillar in the main hall, directly cutting off a section of the stone pillar. Then, it landed on the sturdy wall, creating a huge crack. Chu Tian was shocked by the might of the sword chi. Even if it was a second awakened soul layer cultivator, it would not be easy to block it. This was a sword chi that Chu Tian had casually sent out. In other words, the might of a casual attack from Chu Tian was enough to threaten a second awakened soul layer cultivator. Why was it this strong? Not to mention a casual attack from a first awakened soul layer cultivator. Even if they used their full strength, it would be hard for them to break the protective spirit energy of a second awakened soul layer cultivator. At most, they would be heavily injured, but it would not be enough to threaten their lives. This was mainly because of three things. The first was the source spirit. Chu Tian's demon god's sword source spirit contained a strong destructive power, so it could increase the might of his sword art. The second was the weapon. The Netherworld sword was his soul contracting weapon. Although it had been sealed for many years, and its might had decreased after fusing with the Netherworld ghost flame, its might was still very shocking. The third was the sword art. This was something that any sword cultivator needed. The Netherworld flame sword's specialty was its strong explosive power, its strange changes, and it excelled in assassination. Good. Very good. Chu Tian's battle strength had increased by several times. If he were to fight against the dog shit Heavenly Demon Branch Lord now, even without the little fox's help, he might not lose. That's right. What about the little fox? Chu Tian was busy comprehending, but he had forgotten about the little fox. When he looked over, the mountain of herbs had already been emptied. A cute little white fox was sitting on the ground. It rubbed its round belly and gave a burp. With its 4 feet in the air, it laid down comfortably with a satisfied look on its face. Fuck, what the hell? It's all been eaten. You damn prodigal fox. Chu Tian charged over and grabbed the little fox's ear, fiercely lifting it up. You ate at least several million gold coins from father. The little fox did not feel guilty at all. Rather, it stretched out its 2 little claws and made a face at him. So what if this fox ate it all? If you have the skills, then come and hit me. Chu Tian's temper instantly rose. See if I don't properly teach you a lesson. He really wanted to fight? The little fox trembled in fear. It knew that its master was not an easy person to deal with, so it quickly made a few gestures. What? There are other treasures here? The little fox pointed in the direction of the blood pond with its claws. Chu Tian looked over the blood pond. Where the Heavenly Demon Branch Lord was healing, was there something good hidden there? You're tuning into the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.